Absolutely beautiful astrology soulmates. It's me, Stormie Grace, and welcome to your monthly horoscope for January 2024, first month in a new calendar year. Lots going on in the cosmic sky, shifting energies, many things that will refer us back to patterns we've already seen in 2023, and now we're going to be able to make some decisions about them as we're traveling here in 2024. So plenty to get set with, my beautiful friends, and I am hoping that you have checked out and we'll check out multiple times throughout the year your 2024 annual horoscopes with myself, Christopher Renstrom, Wade Caves, Cameron Allen, and Tiffany Harlick, because we really poured a labor of love into that to make sure you're really prepared astrologically for the 2024 year, and where you have the opportunity to develop and even do things like make smart and financial decisions and timing. So hopefully you have checked that out. If you have not, please make sure you jump into the playlist. Also, make sure you jump into the description box down below, because there are a lot of resources and goodies that are really here to serve you throughout 2024 to have you ready with your astrological fluency. We've got your digital transit calendar from our friends at Wise Guys Collective, which brings the daily transits, weekly transits, monthly transits right to your telephone or to your device, whichever one you are using. As well, if you head over to my website, stormiegrace.com, you can now check out the Astrological Encyclopedia, which is a beautiful quick reference for you, guide for information astrologically. If I say something is happening, a full moon is happening in your second house, now you can look up exactly what a full moon means, exactly what it means when it's happening in your second house, and lots of good information to just guide you along your astrological journey. So make sure you click in the description box down below and take advantage. And of course, the one ask I have for you while you're here is, if you would please, if you enjoy this content, if it's useful to you, if you get absolutely anything out of it, click the like button, share, subscribe, join our community. The Soulmate Family Tribe is what we've got going over here. All right, my beautiful friends, let's talk about what January has got in store for us. Now, January in and of itself is, the first thing I want to point out is that January in and of itself is not the astrological new year. So we're just at the end of a calendar year. So that's something I like to keep everyone in mind, because as we're learning it to be astrologically fluent on this channel and in this space, we want to be really very clear what we're talking about when we say, welcome to the new year, because it's just the new calendar year. But as we are starting off here, we're going to begin with just an abundance of energy. First of all, right away coming into the month, we've got Mercury stationing direct, and this is going to be in the vibration of Sagittarius, which we have already visited. We saw this energy November 25th when Mercury entered into the pre-retrograde shadow time at 22 degrees of Sagittarius. So we have been re-looking at, reorganizing, re-editing, reconsidering the things in the Sagittarian space for us. And it's really been a lot about, what is my belief? What are my philosophies? What is my belief structure that I've got going? And do I need to realign in some way there? Do I need to communicate? Do I need to seek in a different way? And this has really been the Mercury retrograde, an opportunity to do that. Now, we've also got the new moon that's going to be happening in Capricorn on January 11th. And this is a big deal, because the new moon's our opportunity to plant our seeds of intention, but it's also an opportunity for us to really get focused in on what we are doing, what we want to build, the legacies that we want to lead, business goals, family goals, goals of what we'd like to be called in public, and our titles and what we would like to achieve. It's very much so an energy of, what is your ambition? And then in that very Capricorn earth energy, what is the persistence that you have to help that unfold for yourself? Where's your hard work? So to help all of this, we will also see Mars entering into the vibration of Capricorn, and this is going to be all of January. We get this energy all of January, and I love Mars in Capricorn because Mars in Capricorn is exalted. Okay, it loves this energy. It loves this placement because Mars wants to do things. And in Capricorn, it's like, yeah, let's do it. Let's build. Let's be about it. So it is lovely for helping you with your ambition and for you to put in the hard work it takes to build whatever is really, truly important to you. Now, the biggest thing we've got going this month is that we are going to see on January 20th that Pluto moves back into the vibration of Aquarius. Now, flashback into your life for just a minute. What was happening for you March 2023 when we saw Pluto step into the vibration of Aquarius for the first time? What was starting to happen for you? What started to come to your attention in the Aquarian vibration, right? So these are things you can kind of harken back to that time and go, what was happening for me? And it'll give you some symbolism of things that are to come as we move forward. Now, also here on the 20th, why I think this is significant is that we'll also see the sun in a conjunction with that Plutonian energy. So before we get this movement where Pluto just pops here and it's ready to go and it's ready to stay long term, it's going to do a shorter visit in Aquarius. But with the sun, it is saying there is some intention. There is some light, heat, life, and vitality unfolding and shifting here. So now we're thinking more collectively. We're thinking in more of Aquarian vibration. We're thinking about how do the dynamics of relationships and collective relationship, business relationships. We have entered the digital revolution. We're aware now of how all of these things are beginning to change, and that many, many relationships that all of us collectively have been experiencing are going to have to die off so that they can live in a different way. We will see people realigning with tribes that are the right tribe for them because we have told a deeper truth about who we are and what we really have to offer to the world. It's really a beautiful energy. Now, we're also going to see Venus coming into the vibration of Capricorn just here on the 23rd. And as Venus comes to Capricorn, I love it. You know, romance, finance, these things get a little bit more serious and they start to look for, where do I need to focus to build in this area? So really, truly, you know, do you have the skills to have the relationship, to have the business, to meet the ambitions that you would like to have in your life? And is that what you're attracting to you? Because Venus is an attracting energy. So if you're saying, I want to have solid, committed partnership in my life, do you have the skills to do that? And if not, this is a great year in 2024 to be gaining the skills, to be taking on mentorship so that you can build what you'd like to build here. Because with Venus in Capricorn, we're looking for something long-term. We're looking for something consistent. We're looking for some kind of commitment. Think about it as, you know, my love, my money, my ambition meets legacy. So we really want something long-term here in this vibration. And when Venus moves into Capricorn, there's no better time to make a start, since Capricorn is a cardinal energy, to begin to learn what you need to do in order to have the skills to have this long-lasting thing in your life. Now, on the 25th, we're going to have a full moon in the vibration of Leo. Now, the full moon is asking us to end something, acknowledge something, or to make an adjustment. So in the vibration of Leo, we're really going to look at, you know, where am I willing to take a risk? Where am I willing to take a risk to have love, pleasure, play, ease, maybe a new opportunity, children in my life, right? Where is this joy vibration? But whatever it is we take on under this full moon, we have to make an adjustment in order to take this risk, in order to be brave and to be bold and to move towards it. It's really an exciting full moon, I think. And at the end of the month, we're going to see Uranus coming direct, and this will be on the 27th. And we have been seeing Uranus in pre-retrograde shadow time in May of 2023. It'll leave post-retrograde shadow time in May of 2024. So we've got a long time with Uranus in Taurus. But as it stations and it turns direct here, you can really go back into 2023 and start to see what gems and jewels and minerals were risen to your surface, came to your attention, and it was like, wow, I don't really need to learn a new skill. I already have everything I need. I just need to practice innovating how I work with that. Maybe you don't need to do any more astrological training. You just need to sit down with the courses that you already have and actually study them, go through them, apply them, let them absorb, things like that. So think about what you were shown that you already have that is a big, beautiful resource and that you need to really take care of. Also, when we're thinking about this, what did Uranus do to your health and to your body? Because in the vibration of Taurus, it absolutely rose, you know, any health conditions that the body has been having to the surface to be able to deal with them. But that's very much so in alignment with this concept, I believe, of what do you already have, that you don't need something new. You just need to learn new ways to innovate and to really, really really take care of it, especially, ladies, things in that sacred pelvic bowl. What has been going on in your hips? Are your hips open? Are you able to be flexible? Can you roll your hips with ease? Do you have stories of trauma or old beliefs stuck in your hips? This is something that Uranus has been bringing absolutely to your attention, because in the vibration of Taurus, if that area is blocked for you, we're going to see things like painful periods. We're going to see things like problems in reproductive space in general. And you will also see challenges with feeling like you can attract to you abundance, attract to you partnership. So whatever has risen to the surface for you with Uranus here, especially in terms of that pelvic bowl, make sure you are checking in on that. And if you have not had the opportunity to go through my 22-day Venus reset program, getting into that sacred pelvic bowl, meeting Venus, walking with Venus in this innovative form through there and doing a lot of healing and releasing, I really encourage you to click in the description box down below, check it out, or come to my website, sign up. It's a really impactful 22 days. All right, my absolutely beautiful friends, this is a gorgeous overview of what January has to offer. Now, if you want to see what is in store for your particular sign, whether it is sun, moon, or rising, make sure you just click in the description box down below to your particular sign you'd like to listen for. And I love you, and I look forward to seeing you in February.
Hello, my beautiful Aries friends, and welcome to your horoscope for January of 2024, where Aries this month kicks off the energy, where it really comes down to you grabbing your reputation, your ambitions, kind of by those horns, those ram horns, and deciding where you would like to go in this new year. January kicks off an energy where you get to hone your reputation. You get to say, what is it that I really want to do? I really want to be known for. What's the legacy that I want to leave? And this month, you get an action-packed 10th house to help you take action on that. And it is the kind of action where you're making a beginning. It's Capricorn energy. So I really want to call your attention to that. This month, you're making a beginning at what you're going to call in, but you've got plenty of helpers throughout the month to help you change and make this navigation. It's really a wonderful time. Now, the other thing happening for you this month is that we are also going to see that we've got some things changing, maybe even a course correction per se, as we experience this moon in Leo in your 5th house. So things changing with friends, with social groupings, with where you're willing to take a risk, where you're willing to express yourself in some way. So this will definitely be something that your attention is being called to throughout the month. So let's talk about what this actually looks like for you, Aries. Now, right at the beginning of the month, we see Mercury coming direct in the vibration of Sagittarius. Now, we see that Mercury is coming direct here at 22 degrees of Sagittarius. And if you back up into your life, go back to November 25th of 2023, this is where we saw Mercury enter into this pre-retrograde shadow time right here on your 9th house. Now, you can see on the slides that are on the screen, each of the dates also tells you which house it's happening in for you, okay? So go back to November 25th and what was happening in your 9th house: publishing, marketing, broadcasting, traveling, things needing to do with international business, the law, faith, beliefs, higher education. That area of your life was beginning to change. And as we got all the way through Mercury going retrograde and now Mercury coming direct, and all the way until we get to January 20th, where we see Mercury get back to the 8 degrees of Capricorn, there have been some advancements available for you to review, relook at, reconsider what you believe, where you're willing to extend yourself out there. What's the new adventure that Aries is ready to go on? So if you have felt like, I really wanted to push this forward, or I need to move something forward, and the energy or the information felt like it just wasn't there, it wasn't flowing, by the time we get to the 20th, you should see this area between, the 9th house and the 10th house really releasing and helping you, supporting you make some decisions, helping you go on the adventure of this ambition, this reputation, and your career, where you would like to be known and where you would like to leave your legacy. It's an absolutely beautiful energy. When we get to the 4th, we're going to see Mars, your ruling planet, move into the energy of Capricorn. Now, Mars is exalted in the vibration of Capricorn, which means it's really happy working here. And Mars is about energy, movement, a change of direction is what Mars brings. Now, Mars will bring in conflict if conflict needs to be had. So it's fair to say that if you were working on a project, around about the time that Mercury took its retrograde back into the vibration of Capricorn. So somewhere right around December 13th, if you had something going on and you need to go back over it, or you kind of need to fight that battle to clean it up or to fix it, Mars is going to help you do that. But at the same time, with Mars being here in Capricorn, it's like, if you want to do it, if you want to be it, if you want to go after it, nothing in the world but you is going to stop you. And so sometimes we see this very Martian conflict of it's not the man with the world, but it's the man with himself. And so if you are encountering some of that this month, I think Mars here helps you have the energy to plan, to have stamina, to be persistent, and to move forward. Now, again, you've got a host of characters that show up to support this work as well. We've got a new moon happening in Capricorn on the 11th. We've got Mercury moving into Capricorn on the 13th, and then we will have Venus moving into Capricorn on the 23rd. So your 10th house is really very, very loaded in support of your new endeavors. Now, as we're going to experience this new moon that is happening in Capricorn, I want to bring your attention to the fact that it's happening at 20 degrees of Capricorn. So, and that means, because it's in this earth energy, that you're planting your seeds of intention to begin something new in the material plane, Aries. And this particular lunation is also in a wonderful, wonderful trine connection with Uranus, who's in Taurus, another earth sign. Now, Uranus is retrograde at this particular time. So it's saying, I've innovated. There's something about you, something you already have. It's around you. It's a skill. It's a talent. It's something valuable. It's self-worth. It's your own knowing and value. It's your own beauty that is literally called back to the table. It's like been rushed to the surface for you. Now you have access to it. Now you have an opportunity for it. So take your skill, your talent, your beautiful who you are out into the world and decide, what is your legacy? What do you want to make very real in the material plane? That's what this particular new moon is going to be built to really help you succeed at. Now, on the 20th, we're going to see Pluto move into the vibration of Aquarius as well. The sun moves into Aquarius. The sun and Pluto come into this conjunction, which is really, really very powerful. And this is all happening and lighting up your 11th house space. So as we see Pluto move into this 11th house space, one of the big questions that comes to my mind is, first of all, what was happening? Flashback to March of 2023. When we saw Pluto move into your 11th house, into Aquarius for the first time, what started happening to you? What were these changes to your social circle, your community, your tribe? These are the questions that you're going to be thinking about as we travel through 2024 and look at Pluto in this vibration, because it is tearing down what is not needed in that area anymore. It says something has to die off in this way. There has to be a transformation, a transformation of the power struggle, a regeneration in this area, so that you have this opportunity for your own personal growth to surrender it in order to move forward. So some really big questions I would give you to meditate on or think about as you travel this year with Pluto in Aquarius is, first of all, who are your groups? Who are your friends? Where is your tribe? Where are your people? And where do the connections that you have to social groupings or friends need to have some kind of transformation? Maybe it has to die off in one way so it can really live in another. But bigger questions too in this very social way, which is, how are you, or how can you this year contribute to collective transformation that's happening? Aries, you have a big voice, and maybe this is the year where you just had an opinion at home, and this year you're actually bringing it out more publicly on the public platform in some way, and you're aligning with this larger vision of where you'd like to see humanity go and grow. And that's a really big deal when we're talking about community, social connections, and the reputation you would like to carry as well. So whatever it is, you've got this big voice you're ready to share. I support you. And to support this big voice, on the 25th, we've got a full moon happening in the vibration of Leo, which will be lighting up your 5th house space. Now, it's interesting because when we have a full moon, it's asking us to end something, acknowledge something, or to make an adjustment. Okay. So as you're here at this full moon, there's this like peak creative, romantic, joyful energy where it's like, where do you need to end, acknowledge, or adjust, the way that you're expressing here? How do you balance your personal desires with the needs of the people that you love around you, but in a way that lets you really embrace playful creativity? Furthermore, how can you infuse more joy, more play, and more of a willingness to, take a risk to say what you think, take a risk to be who you are into your life? This is something that this moon is absolutely going to bring, to your consciousness and to your table. Now, as we're experiencing this full moon, it's going to be happening at 5 degrees of Leo. And this particular moon as well is going to be in a square to Jupiter. Now, one of the things that comes like immediately to my mind when I think, oh, moon square Jupiter, what are we doing? We've got some emotional response that may be happening, right? I'm going to adjust. This is it. I'm going to say it. I'm going to say it. I'm going to do it. And so there is this dynamic challenge that is between what you're feeling, these emotions, these instincts, maybe even something that's happening or overcoming you subconsciously, and Jupiter, which is about this expansion, growth, optimism. And as these two square against each other, there is this potential tension and conflict that can present itself, but it's like emotionally amplified here, right? So it's like I'm exaggerating the way I feel, or I'm exaggerating what I'm saying, I'm exaggerating the truth. There's some form of excess that may be here. And now whether the excess is this is, I'm overeating, I'm overjoyed, I'm overspending, I'm overdoing something like that, or if it is, I'm overly optimistic and I'm missing this like emotional realism that needs to be here. You know what I mean? Like this conflict between being idealistic and optimistic and needing to tap into my emotions and say, wait, what's really real for me? Okay, so think about that as a learning opportunity, a chance for you to really cultivate some self-awareness, practice emotional balance, and I think more than anything, if you are being mindful and you know that this energy is here, you have an opportunity to, in the slowing down, release some of the excess, practice a moderation. So that way your emotional responses can contribute to what's going on instead of, being the tension that's in the room. So it'll be a really interesting full moon. So you'll have to let me know how it shapes and shakes out for you in the comment section down below. Now, as we're going to clear out this month on the 27th, we see Uranus coming direct in the vibration of Taurus, and this is going to be in your 2nd house. Now, again, this is not a new energy. We've been working with it for some time, and Uranus actually moved into its pre-retrograde shadow time, May 12th of 2023 at 19 degrees of Taurus. So if you are, you have planets that are between 23 and 19 degrees of Taurus, this has really been working that story for you. It has really been working that story for you. But we saw Uranus also turn officially retrograde in August of 2023, and we will see it leave the post-retrograde shadow time in May of 2024. But where I think your great evaluation here of things in your financial life particularly is going to be between this 19 and 23 degrees of Uranus. And so in your financial life, one of the stories that comes up for me immediately is for you to be looking back at your finances. Has something come up for you financially where you're like, oh, I made a misstep there and I need to relook at it? Or is it simply that you have some gems, you have some talents, you have some skills, And it is time for you to be showing them off. And it's time to bring them to the surface. It's time for the world to know, what Aries is really made of. So this will be a time where Uranus has really, I think, brought enough innovation, risen enough of your skills and your talents to the surface that you're able to expect the unexpected in terms of your financial life and situation. But also it comes from this place that your values and your understanding of your skills has shifted a bit, or maybe you're doing the same old dang thing, Aries, that you've always done, but you have this innovative approach to how you do it, or an innovative approach to how you earn money because you've had a reevaluation of what you truly, truly value. So whatever it is that is this breakthrough time for you, I don't think you're on the breakdown track here in January, Aries. I think this is so much more about coming to your genuine and beautiful breakthrough. All right, my beautiful Aries, have a gorgeous month. And if you want to know more about what these transits mean in your personal chart, remember you can pop over to stormiegrace.com and access the Astrology Encyclopedia and look these placements up for yourself. Bye, Aries. Hello, my absolutely beautiful Taurus friends, and welcome to your horoscope for January of 2024. Where Taurus, this month, I'm telling you, if you have needed to make some financial corrections, this is the month you're going to be able to do that. But also, I love this month that transiting Pluto is going to come back and revisit this 10th house space for you. And we're going to review that, and I've got some questions for you around that. But ultimately, what it does bring is a change. It brings profound changes and opportunities to you, not only for personal growth, but also for you to step into what I like to call your VIP energy, which means for you to come to your next level of understanding. Something has to die off in order for something else to live, but it lives in a way that is risen and regenerated in a way that you can't even imagine. And for you, Taurus, this is about your career, your reputation, who you want to be, the legacies that you want to live, and how you connect to the greater good of people. That is what is available for you, and it kicks off this month. So let's jump in here and get into what's happening this month. Okay, so right at the beginning of the month, on the 1st, we've got Mercury coming direct in Sagittarius, and this will light up your 8th house space. And remember, Taurus, right here on screen, you can see not only the aspect that's happening, but also the house that it is happening in for you. That's what's noted next on your slide, okay? And if you need more detail about, the full moon happening in this house, in this sign, you can head over to my website and check out the new Astrology Encyclopedia, okay? But Mercury is coming direct on the 1st in Sagittarius at 22 degrees of Sagittarius. Now, we saw Mercury enter into pre-retrograde shadow time back November 25th at 22 degrees of Sagittarius. So I want you to go back into your life, Taurus. What was starting to happen for you in your 8th house? What kind of financial decisions were you making? What kind of financial things were happening for your partner? What was going on around intimacy, around asset, death, debt, taxes, sex? What was even happening for you in the lens and the lane of astrology? Because between November 25th and now, you've had an opportunity to relook at that, to invite yourself to a conversation there, review, re-edit, reconstruct this 8th house area. So this is why I say if there's been anything that's been a financial challenge, or you got a little off the mark, or you learned that you would like to take your finances in a different direction, this has been a phenomenal energy for you to make that review. Now, as Mercury does turn direct, the one thing I want us to remember is that Mercury doesn't fully leave this retrograde cycle until January 20th, where it gets back to this 8 degrees of Capricorn lighting up your 9th house space, okay? So once we get past the 20th, you can know that you are full tilt to make forward decisions, and that your thinking is clear, and that you're really very cosmically supported, okay? When we get to the 4th, this is where we start to see that your 9th house is going to be really, really loaded. And this is a month of expansion for you: publishing, marketing, broadcasting, higher levels of truth, international travel, teaching. These are the things that are available for you. On the 4th, we see Mars get into Capricorn. On the 11th, we've got a new moon happening in Capricorn. On the 13th, Mercury comes into the vibration of Capricorn. And on the 23rd, we will welcome Venus into Capricorn. So the 9th house is absolutely loaded for you. You have more cosmic support here than you've had in a long time in this particular area. Now, when we are talking about this new moon happening on January 11th, this is going to be happening at 20 degrees of Capricorn. So make sure you locate that on your personal chart to see what house this is stimulating for you. And again, you can go over and check out the Astrology Encyclopedia if you want more details. But this particular new moon is also in a beautiful trine to Uranus in your sign. So this is a time where at the new moon, you're planting your seeds of intention to begin something new, right? You're planting your seeds of intention to say, okay, I would like to encourage myself to explore, to expand the places of my mind, my faith, my beliefs. I want to explore the outer limits of where I think I'm allowed to go. You know, it's a cosmic push to broaden your own horizon here for sure. And whether that be through travel, through education, through faith, through a philosophical journey, through starting something that puts you out there, whatever it is, this particular energy, especially in trine to Uranus, is reminding you here this month that you have had new gems, you've had new jewels, you've had new qualities about yourself rise to the surface that are ready to be expanded out. It's also called you to expand your perspective, Taurus, on your physical body. What's happening in your physical body? What issues have risen to the surface? And today, you're more prepared to take on a new belief system as to how to handle those. So I would ask you at this particular moon to consider, what knowledge or experiences are you seeking right now to broaden your understanding of yourself, of the world, of a particular problem that you are finding yourself taking on the challenge, okay? When we get to the 20th, big day, first of all, the sun moves into Aquarius, but then we also see Pluto moving into Aquarius, and we've got a sun-moon conjunction here in this Plutonian vibration. Okay, now as Pluto comes to this Aquarian energy, this is where I want you to flash back to what was happening for you in your 10th house of career last March, okay, 2023. What started to happen for you around career, soul level calling, title that we call you in public, your reputation, some ambition that you had, what was happening? Because it was the beginning of understanding a major transformation that was up and available on your table. And Pluto started to stimulate that, especially before it went retrograde and then headed back into the vibration of Capricorn. So call to your mind, and I would even suggest to you go as far back as going to your planner, going to your scheduler last year. What was happening around that time? Who were you having lunch with? Who were you having tea with? Because it's an energy as Sun and Pluto come together in this 10th house for you, where you have really got power and influence. You've got a really powerful voice. You've got a really powerful social presence that you can do a lot with. And if you are using that energy for good in whatever way, whatever you're calling your career right now, even if you're not working, the way that you are influencing people in public, okay? If you are using it for good and you are putting it out there for the good, Aquarius, and the whole of people and of humanity, and to make community spaces better, this will really be in your favor. It can be a major transformation for you professionally. Now, as Pluto is traveling here, if there has been where you're doing something and maybe you didn't even consciously know that you were doing it, if you're like, I just need to make money for me, I just need to do this for me, if it's those kinds of phrases, that is something that Pluto tends to dig into and is like, well, now hold a minute. we need to create a shift here. And the way Pluto creates shift is typically by inversion. It flips you upside down so that you get a different perspective, that it cannot, with Pluto in Aquarius, just be about the me. If it's for the greater good, if it's for humanity, if it's for something like that, this is where you can see that your power and your position move more to that VIP status that I talk about when I'm saying that Pluto possesses that, okay? Now, as we continue on and we see Venus actually get into that vibration of Capricorn, I want you to just remember that this is the attracting in energy. So here in this 9th house, Venus offers you an opportunity to also be very attractive to the public. Okay, they accept what you're saying. So this is such a month of influence in your own voice and in what you're doing. So be very serious about it, because you're building a legacy. You're building something long term. That's Capricorn energy. But you could also be building something that you can really stand on for the rest of your life. Okay, on the 25th, we've got a full moon happening in the vibration of Leo. Now, this is another fixed sign, another fixed energy. So whenever there's like a fixed moon, it's kind of like, okay, well, we're going to be looking at something that's been in place for quite some time. Now, this particular moon is at 5 degrees of Leo, and this moon is squaring against Jupiter. Okay, so as we're going to experience this particular square for you, this lights up the 4th house, home, family, real estate, property. These are the things that you're going to be working on. So this emotional culmination, adjustment, or ending around home, family, your roots, maybe even specifically the housing, right? The personal and domestic lives really take center stage at this particular time. So first of all, I would ask you, how do you balance your personal needs and those of your family needs? This is a great time to evaluate where that emotional foundation is structured. And one of the questions I would give you to ask, especially with this square to Jupiter, which really can create this energy where you're like, okay, well, emotionally there's in this intensity or this instinct, maybe it's even subconscious, where I feel this way, so I should act and move this way. And Jupiter is like expanding that in this square. So it can really amplify your emotions. It's really heightened, and then it's really exaggerated. Something is, you're feeling very optimistic, but it's not very real. There's just this exaggeration there. And instead, the question I would give you to ask, Taurus, is what emotions surrounding your home and your family need acknowledgement? Maybe they even need resolution. What is that for you? That's a great way to view this particular full moon. Now, as we're going to close out this month, on the 27th, we see Uranus coming direct right here in your sign. Now, Uranus being in your vibration is not new. You've been being shaken, not stirred for quite some time. But we saw Uranus enter into pre-retrograde shadow time last year, May 12th, 2023, at 19 degrees of Taurus. It took its retrograde at 23 degrees of Taurus in August, and now we see it stationing direct. So Taurus, if you are a Taurus and you've got placements between 23 and 19 degrees of Taurus, this retrograde has really been focusing on those particular areas for you. But either way, as this Uranus retrograde has been going down, what we've been experiencing is where we need to have these insights, these breakthroughs, this personal desire for freedom where you're like, no, I do not want to do that. I want to go this way. I have to go this way. You know what I mean? So lots of changes for you, Taurus, around your personal identity and how you express yourself. You may have even experienced changes in your image, your self-image, your physical body, and this desire for personal freedom has been absolute. So however this has manifested for you, I do know that Uranus, for most Taurus energies, has really manifested as a need for independence and a willingness to break free from your own patterns. Some of those old patterns have been the way that you've been connecting with your body. There's been breaking from old patterns and energies that have been locked in your hips and locking you from this beautiful sensual vibration that is Taurus, because you've been taking on old stories, old beliefs. I can do this. I can't do that. I can have this. I can't can't have that. Old lovers, old love stories, eating, all of these things we're finding trapped in the body, they have risen to the surface. But now as Uranus is direct, I think you're ready to have freedom from those old stories and a real beautiful ability to move forward. Taurus, it's a powerful month as we start out here in January. I look forward. Share with me in the comment section down below. How are you doing? What's changing for you so that we can hold space for you to do your journey. Have a beautiful month, Taurus, and I'll see you in February. Hello, my absolutely beautiful Gemini friends, and welcome to your horoscope for January of 2024, and welcome to the new calendar year. Keep in mind that the Western astrological new year does not begin again until March 21st, so you've still got time. You've still got time, Gemini. Whatever you're trying to get done, you still have some time, but welcome to 2024. All right, Gemini, this month, lots of heavy focus on relationship and financial reviews that need to be made. As well, it is a gorgeous month for you to do any kind of detoxing that needs to happen for you to have a really clear and beautiful space. Okay, all right, let's get in here and talk about what is going on this month, Gemini. And you will notice on the slides on the screen that you see the aspect, but you also see what house that is happening in for you. And if you need more detail, you want to know so much more, you can go over to my website and check out the Astrology Encyclopedia, and it gives you a breakdown of these placements as well. All right, Gemini, right here at the beginning of the month, we see Mercury coming direct in the vibration of Sagittarius. Now, we saw Mercury move into pre-retrograde shadow time November 25th at 22 degrees of Sagittarius. So we know straight up this was relationship work. So I want you to go back to November 25th. What was happening for you around relationships where it is like you had to, something was coming up. Maybe you were having a conversation or you were trying to put a team or a system in place. I mean, there's all of this. It could have been multiple different directions, but personal chosen relationships, decisions were starting to come up, and maybe you didn't fully have the answer or the energy to solve them at that particular time. Okay. And that's totally okay, because as Mercury is direct now, some of this will begin to unfold. You're not having to like mull it over so much anymore. You can make decisions. Communications can move forward. You know, even just traveling at the end of a calendar year, things get held up and it's like backlog. And now some of that will start to move forward. But I do want to bring your attention to the fact that Mercury, your ruling planet, is not fully out of this retrograde cycle until we get to January 20th, and it gets back to that 8 degrees of Capricorn, okay? So just keep that in mind that yes, decisions can be made going forward and you can make them without a lot of drama, I believe. But also I think you feel the energy really change as we get past the 20th. Now, as Mercury does turn direct on this particular day, it's also got this square of Venus to Saturn, which is telling me that I think really truly there's a pretty serious conversation or a pretty serious decision that does rise at your doorstep in this first week. And the decision does need to be made. And it's probably something around a relationship. You know, are you going to really keep this, or is it really time to cut ties with that particular energy? Now, as we get to the 4th of the month, your 8th house gets loaded in this Capricorn vibration. On the 4th, we see Mars move into Capricorn, which gives you energy to move some things forward. You're like, yes, I can do it. Let's be about this. On the 11th, we've got the new moon happening on Capricorn. On the 13th, Mercury moves into Capricorn. And then on the 23rd, we're going to see Venus move into the vibration of Capricorn. So the 8th house is just really where you've got a lot of work going this month. It's tremendous in terms of detox. What do you need to let go? Where is it, you know, whether it's financial, whether it is in intimacy, whether it is, you know, one of the things I like to talk about is if you've got a bunch of digital courses laying around, but you haven't actually finished them, detox. Which ones are you going to actually do? This is a great time for that. But the other thing that I think it's phenomenal for is things that you've put out. If you've been in collaboration in some way, you know, it can bring a more robust long-term collaboration your way, whether it's been You want to take your relationship to that next level. You're like, yes, I'm really serious about a long-term investment with this person. That's really great. Any other long-term investments are going to be really useful for you this month as you are being connected to this Capricorn vibration. And I do want to say this too, that if you wanted to start something, like you wanted to begin an investment in the general, this is a great energy to be able to do it, and it can have a really strong financial impact on you as you travel the rest of 2024. Now, this new moon that's going to be happening is going to be happening at 20 degrees of Capricorn. So locate that in your chart. And then again, you can head over to the Astrology Encyclopedia for some more interpretation. But this new moon is in a beautiful trine to Uranus in Taurus. So this is what we call an earth trine. So it is saying that you have the opportunity to make some really big changes in your life in the material plane. We can see them. This is transformation of the intimacy with this area of your life. So at this particular new moon, especially trine Uranus, which has risen all of these different gems and secrets and talents and, skills that you've had to the surface. And it's nothing new. It's always been there. You just need to actualize it now. So the new moon's going to invite you to explore the realm of how those skills can bring transformation to you. And it's not just any old transformation, right? It's intimate. It's important for you. It may require some introspection for you. It may require you to shed old patterns and layers and embrace a new way of changing. So at this particular new moon, I invite you, reflect on that. What is important to you in your skills that you're sharing? What is important to you in terms of habits that you're releasing because you see that they are not going to serve you anymore? What's the depth that this relationship can go to? Because have no doubt, this new moon is a beautiful time for renewal that is available for you, okay? All right, now when we get to the 20th, big day, Sun moves into Aquarius, Pluto moves into Aquarius, Sun and Moon come into a conjunction here in Aquarius, which is just a really intense amount of power that comes like at your fingertips, okay? And so this is in your 9th house, publishing, marketing, broadcasting. So first things first, go back into your life into March of 2023. What was happening for you around publishing, marketing, broadcasting, international travel, education, higher education, teaching? What was going on around that expansion? I keep seeing this thing about building a team. I don't know what that is or what that means exactly for you, but wherever you were building a team or you were expanding yourself out, what was going on for you? Because now, as Pluto is back in this 11th house, in this 9th house space for you, you have got, this is an increase in energy. This offers you a chance to not be in a power and control dynamic, but instead to have power and influence to deeply research and investigate what this area means, to bring concepts to the world. 11th house, the people, our communities, our humanity, which help them understand things psychologically, help people understand destructive or obsessive behaviors, addictions, places that can lead to our own undoing. You've got an opportunity to share yourself in this way, teach about it, heal about it, work on it for yourself. Now, I will tell you, Pluto is an interesting dynamic because it means something has to die off so that something else can live. And if you have been working and living in this area of your life in a way that has just been very me, Pluto can be a bit more painful. Really, remember this. I love this quote. I heard it. When we're talking to the universe, if I have a dream and I have something that I want to bring to realization, I will be granted access to it as long as it benefits not just me, but also others. So I would love for you to move and to roll with that and to look at in what area of your life does this month offer you an opportunity to see where you're ready to let go of just any self-serving that has been here and embrace the transformation that also adds your voice to the big pool of humanity All right, as we're going to close out this month, we've got two events. First, we've got a full moon happening in the vibration of Leo at 5 degrees, squaring against Jupiter. So the thing to know here, first of all, is when the moon squares against Jupiter, we can just completely over-exaggerate what is going on, okay? So we've got to end something, acknowledge something, or adjust something. That's what's happening at the full moon. So first of all, any emotional expression that you have through communication, learning, things with siblings, things with contracts, networks, that's really what's going to be on the table for you to reconsider. And what you're looking to do here at the full moon is to find some equilibrium between your logic and your emotions and really enhance the way that you communicate that out, the way that you think about that, your perspective on things. And remember, Jupiter here can really it gets big. We're being like, this is the worst thing that has ever happened, ever. It gets very big, very fast, because we've got this emotional instinct, even if it's subconscious, rising to the surface, and it's squaring against this growth and this optimism. So there's this potential conflict that can just be exaggerated. Or it's like you're seeing something very optimistically and it's not emotionally, there's no emotional realism behind it. So, watch for these conflicts that can be created between what's really idealistic and what's not actually grounded in reality. But instead, at the full moon, I offer you to consider, how can you improve the clarity and the reality of your communication to express your emotions more efficiently in these different areas of your life. Now, as we're going to officially close out January, we've got Uranus coming direct in the vibration of Taurus. Now, we watched Uranus go into pre-retrograde shadow time last year in May. It officially took its retrograde in August. So working between 23 and 19 degrees of Taurus in your chart is really where your attention has been, okay? And Uranus has been really about sudden insights, a breakdown before there's a breakthrough. Some people actually experienced a physical break because Uranus and Taurus did go back to the body. So what, Gemini, have you been experiencing through your body that was literally like a breakdown before you've had a breakthrough? But whatever it is, there's been this movement towards freedom, towards individuality. And for you, working through this 12th house space, it's really been about spirituality and this inner exploration and things happening behind the scenes, things that could have been your own undoing. And instead, Uranus was leading here to those breakdowns and breakthroughs, especially in terms of spiritual practices or anything, honestly, internally that you needed to explore. What is your or subconscious patterns of your own undoing? And they have been disrupted. Uranus disrupted them, right? And so it led you to this new freedom or this new perspective, but also in there would have been your sub or unconscious relationships to rest, to being allowed to just be beautiful and have that be enough, that you don't have to be on the hustle and whatever your hustle is, right? It doesn't have to be be a boss, but like, what has been your relationship to rest, to rejuvenation, to understanding that the spiritual vibration may not be moving as quickly as you think it should be. Maybe you shouldn't have that much money or that many relationships, right? Like, what has been your relationship to actually listening to that vibration? Okay, because while this Uranus transit is associated with so much spiritual innovation and liberation for you, and it has this sense of a bit of unpredictability, it really has been more about embracing change, staying open to new information and possibilities, and being flexible with what Uranus has to show you, because it is about your greater freedom. All right, my beautiful Gemini friends, I hope you have a gorgeous month. I love you, and I'll see you in February. Hello, my beautiful Cancer friends, and welcome to your January 2024 horoscope, and just welcome to 2024. I love you. I am so excited to travel with you this year, and let me tell you what, January is really the whole vibe to get you set up beautifully, cosmically, on the right foot to begin the year. We're going to start off with Mercury coming out of retrograde, helping you sort out anything that kind of went off track, and then the rest of the month is really so devoted to work and relationship ideas and advancing them, going in a different direction, and not just romantic relationships, but business partnerships, and having you just so solidly on the right footing. I cannot wait to share with you what I see going on in the cosmos. So let's get in here. Now, you'll see over on the screen that not only can you see the transit, but also the house that that event is happening in for you is also indicated on the screen as well. So you can check that out. And if you need a little bit more help and support, come over to my website at stormiegrace.com and check out the new astrology encyclopedia. And you can look up full moon happening in this house and see exactly what it means, get a little quick interpretation, okay? All right, Cancer. So right as we're coming into this month on the 1st, we've got Mercury coming direct in the vibration of Sagittarius. Now, we saw Mercury go retrograde in December, but we saw it enter pre-retrograde shadow time November 25th at 22 degrees of Sagittarius. So go back into your life. What was happening at that time? What were you talking about? Especially things in your 6th house. So the 6th house is health, wellness, day-to-day routine. It also can do with where you're a service or you're a caretaker to someone or something like that. But the other thing I was thinking of for you, Cancer, is work. What was happening at work, with a coworker, things like that, as Mercury was entering into its pre-retrograde shadow time. And if anything got off track, or if there was a project that you put down because it was like the end of the year and now you're ready to pick it back up, this Mercury coming direct will really help you get back on top of that and get things back in alignment. Now, keep in mind that Mercury doesn't fully leave its post-retrograde shadow time until January 20th when it gets back to 8 degrees of Capricorn, but you should start to see a little bit of forward traction right here as Mercury comes direct, okay? From there, your 7th house absolutely kicks up all month long. And so we're dealing with conscious, chosen one-on-one relationships. So it's all relationship focused for you this month, Cancer. Now, the great part about that is that anywhere where there's partnership, whether it's business partnership, romantic relationships, you with yourself, you with what you call a higher power, it's really starting to get a lot more clarity. It's starting to get a lot more, you understand the long-term investment that you'd like to put your focus into. So that is brilliant. And to support you in that, the cosmos show up. First, on the 4th, we've got Mars coming into Capricorn. Then on the 11th, we've got a new moon happening in Capricorn. On the 13th, Mercury moves into the Capricorn. And then on the 23rd, Venus moves into Capricorn. So I'm telling you, you are loaded with cosmic support this month to make the decisions you need to in your relationships. Now, one of the things that I was also thinking about is because Mars is Mars, Mars can get you going, and in Capricorn, it's exalted. So you're like, okay, yeah, let's work on this. Let's make these decisions. Let's take this relationship to the next level. Let's break this relationship off if it's really not supposed to be. Let's form this business alliance. Whatever it is, Mars gets it going. But Mars is our indicator right here on the 4th, that the relationship area of your life is having a change of direction because Mars is going to get it moving. Now, if there needs to be conflict or a tough conversation that needs to be had, you're likely going to start to do it after the 4th when Mars gets here. And by the time we find ourselves at the new moon on the 11th in Capricorn, which is happening at 20 degrees of Capricorn, this is where you're going to really, I think, see that spotlight on these relationships and partnerships. And here you can plant your seeds of intention, Cancer, to begin something new, because this is like your cosmic call to reevaluate the dynamics of all of your conscious chosen connections, whether they be personal or professional. And the point is, in order to align with this, strengthen those relationships, strengthen the existing relationships, initiate new connections. This particular moon is in a gorgeous trine to Uranus, so it tells me that, you've had gems and jewels, and you have had beautiful things about you, friendships, connections, people in your tribe, and support around you that you maybe didn't even know that you had. And now it's really rising to the surface. So when I say initiate a new connection, look at who's already around you, who's loving you, who's on your team, who's on your side, who helps you work on effectively communicating and effectively collaborating. Because that's what this new moon really has the ability to bring into your life, is an innovation of your relationships that really, really helps you reform the dynamics of partnership. So at this particular new moon, I would ask you to think about what qualities do you seek in your relationships, right? What do you seek in them? What do you seek to bring to them? How can you embody those qualities and then foster those deeper partnership connections, whatever the type of partnership may be? Now, when we get to the 20th, big day. Sun moves into the vibration of Aquarius, but we've also got Pluto moving into the vibration of Aquarius as well. Now, we did see Pluto come to the vibration of Aquarius back in March of 2023. So what was happening for you at that time, Cancer? What did you start to see coming up for you around your 8th house? This is a house of intimacy and assets. So transformation, regeneration, detox, and shared resources, okay? So as Pluto was visiting there the first time, and as it comes back now, Pluto's influence in our charts and in the transit is about bringing these profound changes and opportunities for personal growth. That's exactly what it is. And to the extent that you are willing and ready to grow with these is how the intensity of it shows up, I think. Now, here in your 8th house, which is Pluto's kind of natural house when we think about the natural zodiac, it brings about these transformations that really are related to intimacy and shared resources. So it has to do with you and your partner's money, death, debt, taxes, inheritance, has to do with healing and trauma, counseling, astrology. So questions I have for you to consider at this time as you're watching this unfold, because this is going to take some time, is how can you embrace the change and the transformation that's happening here in your life? How can you go deeper with a partnership that's in your life? How can you connect more intimately in your sex life, right? What aspects of yourself need to be released because they can't live on anymore in order for you to be reborn, to rise like that phoenix? And how can you really, truly, at every level, move beyond the surface and deepen your connection with others on that soul level, which is just not a place of the intellect. It's in the depths of your soul. So these are going to be things that you're going to be considering all of 2024 as we see Pluto in Aquarius, but Pluto will go back into Capricorn for a little bit, and so we'll dance a bit more into that 7th house, which will probably shed a lot of light on how to get back to your 8th house, okay? Now, we're going to see a full moon happening on the 25th at 5 degrees of Leo, and this is going to light up your 2nd house space. The full moon is asking us to end something, acknowledge something, or to make an adjustment. So here, your emotional focus on your values, your possessions, your financial matters, your self-worth. Really, it's a place of material concerns and things coming to fruition, right? What requires an adjustment from you. So what you're looking to do here is to balance your material desires with kind of a sense of your own self-worth, which will help you do this evaluation of financial stability, what is happening in your finances. Now, this particular moon is square to Jupiter. So one thing I just want to share with you to be mindful of is that moon square Jupiter can manifest its way, like it can potentially manifest its way in conflict, okay? It's because emotionally and instinctively, you're feeling this way. Right? You're like, yes, okay, I feel like we should really be doing this. It should go like this. It can even come from a subconscious place. And Jupiter is willing to expand and grow and to be optimistic. And when these two come together and they're squaring against each other, what can happen is there can be a tendency for an emotional overindulgence, whether it's overeating, overspending, over being overly emotional. It's like there's just an excess here. So one of the things I would tell you to keep an eye on is that this conflict also between something being an ideal or an idea that you have and being very optimistic about it, and having a sense of emotional realism. Like, is that doable, right? So that's the one thing I want to tell you to pay attention to. But a great question to ask yourself is, what values are truly essential to your well-being, and how can you help manifest them financially? What does that look like for you? As we're going to close out this month, we are going to see Uranus coming direct in the vibration of Taurus. Now, Uranus in Taurus is not new, not whatsoever, okay? We've been dealing with that, and we actually saw Uranus take its retrograde, begin its post-retrograde shadow time in May of last year, take its retrograde in August. And Uranus it's sudden change. We've had breakdowns, breakthroughs, but ultimately it's been about, I need freedom. I need freedom. So for you, Uranus and Taurus has been working through this 11th house of friendships, social groupings, ambitions, long-range goals that you had for yourself. So what we've really been able to see are some big changes to your social circle, to your friendships, to groups that maybe you're affiliated with. Maybe you've even been drawn to unconventional groups, or they're like unconventional to you, right? They're a bit more forward thinking, or they think about things in a certain way. Maybe even something religious, and you are finding yourself more called to it, or you're finding yourself being called to break away from people that are not in that alignment with you. Whatever it is, what I want you to remember is that Uranus coming retrograde here in this 11th house is about the spirit of innovation and liberation for you. Right? Stay open, Cancer. Stay open to new possibilities. Stay open to friendship. Stay open to technology. Stay open to, a future for yourself that you really couldn't imagine on your own, that is just starting to come into view. Because that is really, if you stay flexible, you get to grow into a freedom that I think you never really could have imagined. All right, my beautiful Cancerian friends, I love you. Have a gorgeous month. If you need anything from me, click in the description box down below and I'm happy to help. And I will see you next month. Hello, my absolutely beautiful Leo friends, and welcome to your horoscope for January of 2024, and welcome to the new calendar year. And Leo, this month, what a way to start out 2024, where we are going to really get your daily routine, your love of yourself, your love of others really into some shape as we're jumping into the year. I absolutely love the way January is shaping up and opening opportunities for you to clear out some things that don't need to be here anymore, but also giving you a really nice sense of transformation in your daily routine. Plus, we are also going to see that Pluto moves into Aquarius, lighting up your 7th house space. So massive transformations to your relationship dynamics are really what's going to be on the table 24 and 2025. So let's jump in and take a look around at all of the cosmic support that you are getting this month. And Leo, you will notice on the screen that not only do you see the aspect, but you see the house that this aspect is happening in for you as well. So make sure you grab your own chart, take a look at where this is happening for you personally, but also as you're looking at the screen, or if you want to see where something is happening in a particular house, come over to stormiegrace.com and check out my new astrology encyclopedia, where I've got a quick reference for you on, the full moon happening in your 6th house. What does that mean for you? So come on over and check it out. All right, Leo, right at the beginning of the month on the 1st, we see Mercury coming out of retrograde in the vibration of Sagittarius at 22 degrees of Sagittarius. Now, we saw Mercury take this retrograde actually in December, but it moved into pre-retrograde shadow time November 25th of 2023. So, Leo, I ask you to go back to that time. What was happening for you? What decisions were coming up? What communications were coming up, especially in your 5th house of joy, pleasure, play, things happening in terms of true love, true joy, true acceptance, true expression with other people. So things might have started to happen even in your love life or in your children's lives at that time. And then things kind of got clogged up in the information cycle. And so for the last few weeks, there hasn't been a lot to do with it or no real forward motion. Now, as Mercury comes out of retrograde on the 1st, it's like, oh, okay, here's how we can move that forward. Here's a decision that I can make. Here's how I will actualize bringing joy into my life, right? So that said, I want you to keep in mind that until we get to January 20th, we're not actually seeing Mercury fully out of its post-retrograde shadow time. It's got to get to the 20th and get to 8 degrees of Capricorn, get back into that 6th house space before we're fully out of the woods, okay? But as soon as Mercury comes direct, you can start to see some momentum of things moving forward. Now, as we get to the 4th of the month, your 6th house of daily routines, health, wellness, work, if you're a freelancer, independent projects, caring for others. And I also like to put small animals into the 6th house as well. So if you've got anything coming up with them, on the 4th, we see Mars come into Capricorn. On the 11th, we've got a new moon in Capricorn. On the 13th, we've got Mercury coming into Capricorn. And on the 23rd, we've got Venus in Capricorn. So the 6th house of your daily routines really is getting a lot of significant attention, okay? And one of the things I want to tell you is that if you want to work differently, if you are thinking, I need a new long-term plan, how I'm handling my daily routine, if I want to put out more projects, take on more job opportunities, smooth things over with coworkers, whatever it is, this is a really, really lucrative time for you with all of these planets in this particular house. Mars signals to us that there is a change of direction that is happening because that's the nature of Mars. It's in Capricorn, it's exalted, so it's very comfortable, working powerfully well here. But Mars brings a change of direction and action to this area. If there needs to be conflict, there will be conflict, but it is in order to get things moving forward. Now, this particular new moon is about planting your seeds of intention, but it's also in trine with Uranus in Taurus. So it's a signal that really this is happening in the material plane. Some changes that you're making, you're going to be able to see them. So to your health, to your routine, it brings your focus to these areas, but also to self-care. This new moon is an opportunity to establish some new habits that really contribute quite positively to your overall well-being, whether that be in your fitness practice, in a business practice, whatever it is. This is just an opportunity to improve these things. But I also think that it is a phenomenal time for you to come really holistically into alignment with prioritizing daily self-care and what that looks like. So asking yourself the question at this time, what daily habits do contribute positively to your well-being? And then how can you enhance those? What can you do to make it better? Do you need to get a calendar to keep things in order? What helps your daily routine? That's what this full moon and this beautiful time of all of this energy in Capricorn is really about for you. Now, on the 20th, big day. We've got the sun moving into the vibration of Aquarius. We've got Pluto moving into the vibration of Aquarius. Those two are going to come into a conjunction with one another. So it is a day of great power and great influence that comes to the table. Now, the Aquarius vibration lights up your 7th house, partnerships. It's all about partnerships and relationships. So if you go back, Leo, into your life, into March of 2023, when we saw Pluto come into Aquarius the first time, what started to happen? What major transformation started to show up in your relationships? Because, first of all, if there is going to be some kind of challenge or there's going to be some kind of problem, or Pluto we can associate with some kind of crisis presenting itself, what Pluto is really doing and what it's really bringing to the table is a profound change and opportunity for your personal growth. And in the 7th house, it can bring an intensity to your experience, but it is about transforming these relationships. So start to think what was going on for you just a little bit. There is an intensity when it comes to all of your partnership connections, though. whether it be a business partnership, a romantic partnership. And I think for some of you that this is going to be the beginning of a cycle where if a relationship is ready to go to the next level, and if that next level is to get married, or that next level is to get divorced, whatever the intensity is, it's going to present itself and it'll work itself into its, I don't want to say breaking point, I want to say into its changing point. Now, great guiding questions you can ask at this time is, first of all, how can you transform and empower your relationships, empower yourself, empower relationships to come into your life in a different way? What old patterns of partnership need to be examined and changed? Because Pluto's going to show you some behaviors that are like, you don't need that. That needs to be detoxed. What qualities do you seek in a relationship that is going to bring transformation into your life and into the partnership itself? So is this a different alignment with business relationships, friendships, wherever you have conscious, chosen one-on-one relationships? If there's anything unhealthy, toxic, or stagnant about it, you're going to get into position to be letting that go. Now, when we get to the 25th, we've got a full moon happening at 5 degrees of your sign of Leo. So right here in your beautiful sign. And this particular moon is also going to be squaring to Jupiter, okay? So Jupiter is over in Taurus. Now, first of all, as the moon is full, it's asking us to end something, acknowledge something, or make an adjustment. And we've got all the lights on, so we can see it. You can see what needs to be changed, right? Now, squaring this Jupiter, though, it can be like emotional excess or emotional exaggeration. So while this full moon is saying, okay, personal identity and self-expression, the way that your emotions are being really vividly expressed and where you have the space for self-discovery about yourself, you've got to balance the space between your individuality and your relationships. Yes, we've got to embrace some authenticity, some assertiveness, but it can't be overblown. You're not the best person. You're not the worst person, right? It can't be this place where you're judging yourself on your intentions, but the real world is judging you by your actions. So one of the things I would offer for you to consider at this time is, what aspects of your identity are you really ready to acknowledge and to express and to explore more fully? Because as you do that and you let this individual expression really, really come beautifully out to the surface, instead of having it be this emotional, excessive amplification, it's just this beautiful guiding process where it's a learning opportunity for you, where it's this dynamic aspect of balance and constructive outlets for who you are, your emotional needs, and how you express that. I think it's a really beautiful moon. Now, as we're going to close out this month on the 27th, we're going to see Uranus coming direct in that vibration of Taurus, so lighting up your 10th house space. Now, Uranus is not new here, and Uranus has really been bringing changes. Changes is the least it's been bringing, okay? It's been bringing changes, breakdowns, breakthroughs, insights, this place of freedom, a real individuation and individuality to your career. Now, it's not just career, it's career, reputation, your ambition, your soul level calling, whatever we call you in public. All of this has been under huge changes. So I suspect there have been changes in your career path, changes in your public image, or your professional goals maybe even changed. Whatever it is, this transit has been about bringing a desire for more independence, more of let me be me, let me show the value of who I am, the skills I have, the talents I have. Maybe even in the same places that you've been for a long time, you've been ready to call your expertise to the surface. And that's that sense of spiritual innovation that also goes with this Uranian energy. And now as we see Uranus direct, what I'm going to tell you is embrace that change. Stay open to new possibilities. Be flexible. Be flexible for sure, okay? Because there's lots of change that's still available in your career, and really sky's the limit. Now, the only thing that I do see is a challenge with this Uranus energy is that it has been also digging into your body, Leo. So really, very truly, whatever has been going on, especially in your sacred pelvic bowl, work that out, get that unplugged, get all of the gunk out of there, make sure you can roll and move and actuate your hips. Do you have open hip mobility? If not, there is likely something in the somatic or the energetic response that is stuck. So you want to get that cleansed out, because Uranus has definitely come from that Taurus body as well. You can always check out my Venus Reset class. We really got into that pelvic bowl. It was really good stuff. You can get it in the description box down below. All right, my beautiful Leos, I think that January has a lot to hold. It's a great way to be kicking off 2024, and I can't wait to see what you do with it and how you're doing also. So let me know in the comment section down below. Bye, Leo. Hello, my absolutely beautiful Virgo friends, and welcome to your horoscope for January of 2024. We're this month to just kick off the 2024 year, Virgo. My question for you is, what brings you joy? What really brings you joy, and what activities are you going to create or pursue that bring you joy? And how are you going to incorporate more of that into your life and share it with the world around you? That is the theme, creativity and pleasure, that I see for you happening this month, Virgo. And it's a really important question to be answering. Now, that is, of course, not all that is going on for Virgo this month, but we've also got this energy for you where it's like it's time to take a risk a little bit, you know? There's lots going on with the family, but it is time to take a risk a little bit. And I think that January definitely has that to offer you. Now, Virgo, we're going to also see your ruling planet coming out of retrograde this month, right as soon as we get into the month, actually. So anything that's kind of been hung up or clogged up, or you couldn't get it to move forward, we'll start to see that being able to, the energy will release right here at the beginning of the month. Now, you'll notice, Virgo, on the screen that we've got not only the aspect that's happening this month, but also the house that it's happening for you in. So you can always take this and look at your own chart. And if you're a little bit newer, not quite sure how to do that, you can always visit my website at stormiegrace.com and check out my astrology encyclopedia and look up the full moon happening, you know, in the 12th house. What does that mean? And I've got a little breakdown for you to give you just a little bit more guidance, okay? All right, Virgo, here we go. Right at the beginning of the month, like I said on the 1st, Mercury is coming out of retrograde at 22 degrees of Sagittarius. So anything that was really kind of held up in terms of communication, especially things in the home, family, real estate, property, you know, where maybe you've had to make some decisions about where your roots are going to be, or maybe you took on a new job and you felt like you didn't quite get your footing in just yet, and the end of the year is also kind of weird for that. Whatever it is, as Mercury comes direct here in Sagittarius, you can go back to November 25th in your life and in your world, because that's when Mercury actually started to slow down and get ready for this retrograde. So what new perspective do you have in this particular area of your family that you didn't have at that time? And now you'll be prepared to not only have the conversations you need to have, but make the decisions that you need to be making as well. Now, as we continue on through the month, starting on the 4th, man, you have got your Capricorn section is absolutely loaded. So the 5th house of taking a risk, joy, pleasure, play, things having to do with children, conception, whether it's conceiving a child or conceiving of a hobby or a new project that you want to pursue and take out into the world, whatever that is, it gets absolutely loaded. We will see Mars come into Capricorn right here on the 4th, giving you energy and drive to move something forward, take action on things. The 11th brings a new moon in Capricorn at 20 degrees. The 13th brings Mercury into Capricorn, ready to have conversations and make decisions moving forward. The 23rd brings Venus into Capricorn, where not only are you able to bring some balance to what it is you've got going on, You're also really well loved on and accepted and appreciated by the public and people around you. So it's a phenomenal energy. Now, this new moon we are going to have is going to be happening at 20 degrees of Capricorn, and it is also in this beautiful trine to Uranus and Taurus. So the first thing that comes to my mind is you are a part of a grand earth trine here, which means that not only do you have a pocket of opportunity for this creativity, for this pleasure, creative projects, anything that you need to do to reconnect to your sense of playfulness and pleasure and to bring some creative pursuit forward, to take a risk, you are really given that energy, but it is in the material world. So whether it is exploring that joy in your life, a hobby, nurturing a passion that you have, nurturing things with children or a passion that they have, it's all called to the surface at this new moon. So plant your seeds of intention for those to unfold over the next 4 weeks. Now, the 20th is a big day. Sun's moving into Aquarius, Pluto's moving back into Aquarius, and those two are coming into a conjunction. So when the Sun and Pluto are in a conjunction in the first place, it's a really powerful and intense energy, and it's one that I like to call the energy of influence. So you do have influence with what you're saying. Your ability to influence people, or your ability to influence how things in the direction of your life is going, is really very real. But it may require you to gain a fair amount of insight, or to do some research, have some investigation about who you are, how you are, to experience something that kind of is a rebirthing process for you in order to get things moving. Whatever it is in this particular story for you, I want you to understand that it is just really an opportunity for things in your world to get really, really, really very full. Very full. It's a place in your 6th house, in your daily routines, where you're looking at how do the changes in your daily routines, your work environment, maybe a health practice, what needs to take place here? You know, what is prompting you to look around and go, I need to stop doing that. I need a bit more freedom in my life and in my world. I am ready to bring transformation to my daily habits. You know, some really great questions I was thinking about for you as Pluto travels here is, you know, how can you empower physical and mental well-being in your life on a day-to-day basis? And maybe Aquarius, in the lives of others around you as well. What habits or routines actually need transformation so that you have better productivity? You want efficiency. I know that you do. You know, and this is the question that I think really begs this joy in taking a risk and bringing ease into your life. And it's Virgo. In what ways can you serve other people more authentically so that you're not just greeting them with information and efficiency? It's love, it's ease, it's the beauty of who you are. And through that, Pluto will bring about this really profound change and opportunity for your personal growth that really serves, you know, it really serves the world and the community around you. It's beautiful. Okay, on the 25th, we've got a full moon happening at 5 degrees of Leo, which is going to light up your 12th house space. So it's back behind the scenes. Now, this particular moon is also in square to Jupiter. So as the moon and Jupiter square against each other, what they can offer is this tension or this conflict between what is like the emotional expression of something that you're coming to a realization of, or this heightened need to exaggerate, right? So it's like, we're really looking for moderation with this particular lunation, because the full moon is going to ask you to end something, acknowledge something, or make an adjustment, right? To cultivate some new awareness, practice new emotional balance, find constructive outlets for it. But Jupiter is making you be really mindful. You've got to meditate, you've got to reflect, you got to show down, because being mindful will help you avoid the excess in emotional response, right? And especially because this is something behind the scenes, and we've got, you know, emotions are at the peak of working in your sub and unconscious when it's in the 12th house, spirituality, things that have been hidden, even sometimes to you. So this need to balance introspection with your external expression becomes very real. So I can offer you a consideration to look at a reflection here on emotional healing and spiritual growth, and what emotions or things that are presenting themselves externally, and you're seeing that that's coming from a sub or an unconscious pattern, and it needs adjustment for you to end, acknowledge, or to release. Now, another expression of this, I think, is you could be working on something behind the scenes and you're not talking about it just yet. Again, stay in the space of moderation, because if you're taking on too much or you're working in it too much, it's actually going to bring more problems to your world than I think you'd like to solve, especially for January. All right, as we're closing out this month, on the 27th, we've got Uranus coming direct in the energy of Taurus. Now, Uranus is not new to this Taurus energy. It's been really about breakthroughs, a desire for freedom, bringing freedom to you. You're like, I'm not free here. I need to change the way that I'm expressing here. So you might have experienced a desire not only for more freedom, but more freedom in your belief system, in philosophies that have guided you for a long time. Maybe you've wanted to travel, or you wanted to take on a different educational pursuit and expand yourself out. Now, as Uranus is back in direct motion, expect the unexpected. Expect unexpected opportunities for growth and expansion to come your way. Publishing, marketing, broadcasting, teaching, expanding out into the world. Yes, there is this tendency to see legal things coming from the ninth house as well. But what I can tell you is it is all about the spirit of innovation, getting you more liberation, and this sense of really doing and having freedom with what you do. So embrace the change, Virgo. Stay open to new possibilities. Stay flexible as you're traveling with this Uranus in Taurus vibration, because it has shown you skills and talents you have, but now it's about taking a risk to really bring them up and out and share them with the world around you. All right, my beautiful Virgo friends, I hope you have a gorgeous month. Let me know how it is unfolding in the comment section down below. And remember, if you need me or you can use my help, it's all in the description box down below. Bye, Virgo. Hello, my absolutely beautiful Libra friends, and welcome to your horoscope for January of 2024, and welcome to the new year. That's really what I want to say, is welcome to the new calendar year. Anyways, remember that in Western astrology, our new year does not begin until March 21st, so you still have some time, Libra. But welcome to 2024, my beautiful Venusian friends. Libra, listen, this month, I actually love the setup for you this month, because it's really a chance to, first of all, have this communication clarity. Anything that there's been this lack of clarity in your communication, especially over this last few weeks, we get an opportunity to fix that. Go back, get it corrected, get it sorted, and then you're going to spend the month really focusing on family, home, family, real estate, property. These are going to be themes that really, really dominate the month. And we will also see Pluto move into the energy of Aquarius. And it did this in 2023, but now it's coming for a bit of a longer stay, not the full long haul, but enough that it is really calling the way that you are creative and the way that you express yourself and you bring an intensity to those energies. It's going to call it up and out of you here this year. And really things that have to do with romance, love, joy, pleasure, play, all of this is going to start to come to your attention this month as well. And we'll walk with that through all of 2024, okay? All right, Libra. Now you'll see on the screen that you've got not only the aspect that's happening and the date, but also the house that it's happening in for you. And if you need a little extra help breaking that down, let's say the full moon happening in your fourth house. So just go to stormiegrace.com. I've got a brand new, beautiful astrology encyclopedia giving you some quick reference material, especially if you're just starting out, okay? All right, Libra, as soon as we're coming into the month on the 1st, we've got Mercury coming direct in the vibration of Sagittarius. Now, Mercury went into pre-retrograde, shadow time at 22 degrees of Sagittarius, November 25th. So go back into your life. What were you talking about? What communications were happening? What were you trying to understand, or you were trying to learn, or you were trying to teach, or maybe you're trying to sign a deal, or something was going on with a sibling, whatever it was. think back to that time, because now as Mercury has been direct and has been retrograde, and now coming direct, you have the opportunity to correct any any communication breakdown that happened, or even if the communication wasn't like a breakdown, it just was delayed. Now you'll be able to see plans, designs, deals, learning, absorbing of information going forward, really taking on a new feel and feeling like, okay, there's a lot more clarity in this energy. And by the time we get to the 4th, we see that your 4th house is lit up: home, family, real estate, property. On the 4th, Mars moves into Capricorn. On the 11th, we've got a new moon in Capricorn. On the 13th, Mercury moves into Capricorn. On the 23rd, we've got Venus in Capricorn. So it is a loaded, please do something with these energies kind of house. As Mars moves into this 4th house space, first thing that I think of is Mars brings a change of direction. So really, truly, if you've needed to get something done in terms of anything in your house, building, you've needed to, finish the renovation, clean your house, whatever it is in the family zone and in the home zone, Mars will help you get it done. But Mars is Mars. If there has been conflict at home, Mars may not be coming necessarily to bring more conflict unless it's needed, but it can be coming to bring an end to it, to say, no, we need to wrap this up. So it's really kind of a nice fresh start energy. The new moon happening here at 20 degrees of Capricorn, also in trine to Uranus that's in Taurus, says that you're making changes in the physical plane. Okay, so there's this emotional undertone to everything domestic that is happening, but focus on your home, focus on your family. Bring this as an invitation to nurture and create a foundation of well-being in any of these areas. Where do you need to plant your seeds of intention to physically do it? Reconnect with your family, redecorate your living space, address an unresolved emotion. Whatever it is, this period is a time for a lot of inner healing and a lot of creating a supportive space around you, whether that be with your family, in your home. Create supportive spaces. So I just offer you to think about at this particular new moon and over the next few weeks is, what emotional foundations or what foundations do you need to establish or strengthen in your home and in your family life for you to have the support you need and to give the support that you need as well? When we get to the 20th, big day, we see the sun moving into Pluto, or we see the sun moving into Aquarius. You can tell I'm recording during a Mercury retrograde. And then we'll also see Pluto moving into Aquarius as well. And all of this is going to light up your 5th house space. Now, what Pluto's really doing as it's traveling here is it's saying something needs to die off so that something else can live. And it doesn't have to be scary, because Pluto is trying to move you to that VIP empowered experience, right? It's going to offer you profound changes and opportunities to really grow yourself. Now, here in the 5th house, it can bring this intensity to your creative energy and an intensity to a desire to express yourself. The South Node is also traveling through your sign. So really, truly, there's this sense of self that I think you're tapping into, or you have the opportunity to, and ask the question of, how can I tap into my creative power more fully? What aspects of my life over the next year do I want to express in my family zone, in my home, to the world, with my children? And how can you also, Libra, really transform your approach to joy, pleasure, play, romance? How can you create these transformations, or where are you open for transformations? Pluto will walk with you through that question all of 2024. And then, of course, we'll see the growth and the change that comes with that as we get around to 2025 as well. So lots of big work in that particular area. So instead of being over there feeling like, oh my gosh, I need to hold on to my chair and, brace myself for the chaos that is Pluto, I just want you to know, whatever is happening, it's really trying to get to your joy, into your heart, into that expression, and help you really bring it out in the world. Now, as we are going to close out this month, we're going to see that we've got this full moon happening in Leo, first of all. And this is going to light up your 11th house space. This particular moon is squaring Jupiter. So the one thing I want to tell you is don't emotionally amplify or over exaggerate what's happening, okay? Because the full moon is asking you to end something, acknowledge something, or to make an adjustment. But you know what it is. You can see it. The lights are fully on, okay? And it's this emotional culmination of things with your social circles, with your friendships, in group dynamics. Maybe you're figuring out, I need a different group dynamic, a different tribe, because I have a different goal for my life. And so the way to really align with this particular moon is going to be to find that balance between individuality and the collective that you're running with, the collective goals. So have a reflection on your emotional connection with that and your emotional connection within the communities and the tribe that you find yourself. Another great question at the full moon is, how can you contribute emotionally to the friendships, social circles, or communities that you are participating in, okay? And to finally bring the month to a close on the 27th, we're going to see Uranus coming direct in the vibration of Taurus, fellow Venus-ruled energy, and this is going to light up your 8th house space. Now, Uranus in Taurus is not new, and Uranus has been here bringing breakthroughs, breakdowns, this desire for more freedom and liberation. And certainly in the 8th house space for you, it's been about, where have you needed to detox? Maybe you didn't even realize you needed to detox something in your life, but you're like, I need to get rid of this. This doesn't belong here anymore. Unexpected changes in shared resources, intimacy, intimate relationships, real personal transformation. And sometimes what that can look like is getting some counseling, getting some help. Maybe you've finally stepped into being that beautiful astrologer or creative being, and you're bringing that out into the world. So whatever it has been, and it has been showing to you in this 8th house, I just want you to be open to innovation, be open to innovative approaches when you're dealing with joint ventures, whether it be a collaboration, whether it be romance, whether it be sex, gynecology, any of these kinds of things. Embrace the change, stay open to the new possibilities, and for goodness sake, stay flexible. That's how Uranus can really actualize these gems and these jewels that it's bringing to your surface. Now, one other thing I do want to say is that Uranus in Taurus has absolutely been bringing some things to the surface in your body. And one of the primary places is in the Tauran region, which is that sacred pelvic bowl. What have you been holding on to? What old stories, what old expectations, what old traumas have been locked in your hips? How is your hip mobility? Are you able to open your hips, move with them? Are there adhesions that have happened in your hips? What is going on there in that sacred bowl area that is maybe blocking your ability to attract to you what you want? It's showing up in terms of tension. You can't really connect with yourself. You can't really connect with pleasure. You're finding it complicated to be in connection with others. Whatever it is, Uranus has also woken up what needs to be addressed in the body as well. Now, if you do want to work on those hips and that sacred pelvic bowl, I welcome you to my Venus 22-day program. We really got in there, and it is an offering of love. Check it out. Spend 22 days with me in the description box down below. All right, beautiful Libras, have a gorgeous month. Please let me know how it's unfolding for you in the comment section down below. Bye, Libra. Hello, my absolutely beautiful Scorpio friends, and welcome to your horoscope for January of 2024. We're Scorpio this month. What a way to start off the year. And I think that you are really ready to change the direction of your life. And I think you're also ready for a bit of relief, and not necessarily that everything's been painful, but it's like, I am ready to take the steps to bring this next deep breath into my life. As Mars moves into Capricorn, and the Capricorn area of your chart is completely lit up for the entire month, there's this sense to me where you are really willing and ready to make some decisions, to move some things forward. And I think you know what you want to do. I don't know why, Scorpio, but listen, I've been thinking about this line from the 50 Cent song. You remember 50 Cent? And he said, if they hate, then let them hate and watch the money pile up. Now, whether this is let people hate because you're ready for something new and, maybe not everybody's on board with that, or if it is that you are really willing to embrace something different in your life to bring financial and personal changes to your table, I'm going to tell you what, as long as you are not harming yourself or others, if they hate, Scorpio, then let them hate. It is time for you to move forward and be assertive and proactive. And I think that you are really ready, and January speaks to that. All right, right at the beginning of the month, let me say this to you really quick too, Scorpio. On the screen, you'll see that the aspect is shown, but also the house that it's happening for you is listed as well. And if you need a little bit more depth or clarity around that, you can come check out my new astrological encyclopedia at stormiegrace.com. Look up, the new moon happening in this house and see a little breakdown, okay? All right at the beginning of the month on the 1st, we see Mercury, our communication planet, coming out of retrograde in Sagittarius. So go back into your life and your world, November 25th of 2023. Things started to change around your financial life, or something came up and it was being brought to your attention. And now maybe things got stuck, or they've kind of been clogged in the make decision and communication sector. On the 1st, they will begin to release. Now, Mercury will leave fully the post-retrograde chatter time, January 20th. And then I think you've really got free reign to make a lot of financial decisions that you've maybe been waiting or needing to make. So that is on the way, okay? But the real focus, I think, is as we get to the 4th, we see Mars move into Capricorn. On the 11th, we've got a new moon happening in Capricorn. On the 13th, we've got Mercury moving into Capricorn. And on the 23rd, we've got Venus moving into the Capricorn energy. And these all light up your 3rd house space where you are ready to make some decisions. This is your communication sector. So the way that you communicate, the way that you learn things, contracts, negotiations, things with siblings, whatever it is, there's just this vibration and this energy for you where you're like, listen, I might need to negotiate this. We might need to go back and forth a little bit because I am willing to hear different perspectives, but what I'm not willing to do is negotiate what I want and the decisions I'm ready to make. And I love that level of assertion for you. And I think it is a can't stop, won't stop kind of energy for you. Again, as long as you are not doing harm and you are not being brutally honest, but you're practicing rigorous honesty, I think that this aspect can work really well for you. Now, Mars coming in on the 4th does signal that this is a change of direction for this area. Now, Mars, if conflict needs to happen, Mars will bring it up, but it brings it up in order to resolve it, okay? The new moon we're going to have on the 11th is going to be at 20 degrees of Capricorn, and it is in a trine to Uranus in Taurus over in the 7th house energy. So you've really got this opportunity with this new moon to, first of all, make changes in the material reality. You can see them, you can touch them, you can taste them. So as this new moon energizes your communication style and any learning pursuit that you're taking on, it's also an opportunity to plant your seeds of intention for kind of an intellectual reset where you are encouraged and encouraging fresh perspective. You are encouraging things to be more effective and efficient in how you communicate. And there's knowledge. So you're also willing to seek what you need to know or share what you know in order to move forward. So January is a great month at this new moon to enroll in a course, start a blog, write that book, engage in a conversation that does broaden your horizon, but is not trying to move you from your position, right? Instead, it strengthens your connection. And maybe that connection is with siblings or neighbors or your community. Whatever it is, ask at this moon, how can I enhance my communication skills and engage in lifelong perspective shifts and learning? That I think can serve you really very well. Now, on the 20th, big day, the sun moves into Aquarius, Pluto moves into Aquarius. Those two come into a conjunction with each other. So there's a lot of power. There's a lot of potency. You have a lot of influence in your life, in your 4th house, home, family, real estate, property. Now, Pluto's work here is about bringing profound changes and opportunities for personal growth, but it does it by saying something has to die off in order for something else to live. So you may continue to experience throughout 2024, and it will carry into 25, these really profound changes and transformations within your home life, home, family, real estate, property. So I encourage you, go back to March of 2023 and what was happening as Pluto was revisiting this area of your chart, this Aquarian vibration for the first time. And now as it's coming back, and the change, and you're ready to do a little bit more work, ask yourself the questions, how can you create a more empowering home environment? And even if it's just, with your roots, how can you make your home, your physical property, more empowered? Do you need to structurally fix something, or what family patterns or dynamics really need transformation? Because Pluto will also show you things that need to go. They need to detox. That is an old behavior pattern, right? And the other question that I think is really important for you, Scorpio, is where and with whom do I find grounding, rooting, and emotional security? Right? But what is going to be required for you to answer that question this year, Scorpio, is who are you also willing to be vulnerable and honest with? You're a powerful, powerful sign, and you can hold so much. But just because you can hold it doesn't mean you need to carry it all of the time. There has to be at least one person that you're willing to be vulnerable and let them help you put the basket of holding all of these deep things down so that you too can have your own freedom, okay? Now, when we get to the 25th of the month, we are going to see a full moon happening in Leo, and this is going to light up your 10th house space. Now, this particular full moon that is going to ask us to end something, acknowledge something, or make an adjustment is also square to Jupiter. So what I'm going to tell you out of the gate is that because this is an emotional peak time around your career, your soul level calling, your reputation, things we see you do in public, don't over exaggerate it and don't over commit to anything if you can. And also, if you have recognition, if you have people chanting your name, if people are giving you a new title, don't overblow what you get to do with that title, because sometimes we have to really at these full moons look at how do I balance this personal and professional life and title, right? So that's something to think about. And also, I think that this full moon is a great time for you to look at what might be a really optimistic view of what you want to do and what is emotionally real for you to take on, because this moon does call us to some reflection on your career goals and what brings you a lot of emotional fulfillment. And I think that this is a great time to evaluate that. And likely, Scorpio, you're in the workplace and you're looking at, I love what I do, but can I still do it this way? That is a great use of this Jupiter square. So a great question to leave you with for this full moon is, what emotions actually surround the work that you're doing? And not only how can you navigate them, but how can you understand the direction that they may be pointing you in, okay? Now, as we close out this month on the 27th, we are going to see Uranus come direct in the vibration of Taurus. And Uranus being here is not new energy. It's been here. It's been working for a while. And Uranus has really been about bringing breakdowns, breakthroughs, releasing you from some relationships or the dynamics that were there and bringing a personal freedom. In your 7th house, it's been all about significant changes in your one-on-one conscious chosen relationships. And you can continue to expect the unexpected kind of in your partnerships with a potential for more freedom, for more maybe unconventional approaches to relationship dynamics, and also more unconventional connections to come into your life. And these people really show you something to grow into how to have freedom in your relationships, in your partnerships. And this is all on the tail of having to see where you've had some past some demons in here that were not really working for you, or connections to the past that won't serve you going forward. The other thing I will say, Scorpio, is that I think that Uranus in Taurus has come for everybody's body. So really, truly, What is the story that your body has been telling? What medical thing has come up for you? Especially, for my ladies, in your sacred pelvic bowl, we just did the Venus Reset program because Uranus is coming for this bowl. It is coming for the place where you hold stories, you hold weights, you hold doubt, you hold guilt, you hold old lovers. And if you've been holding on to them, you will see that you lack an ability to feel like you can draw to you what you need. You feel like you lack the ability to understand that being beautiful is enough, that being is enough, and it's not this push, 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 and the body is responding to years and decades of that story. If you want to check out that Venus Reset program, I'm telling you, it was a labor of love, and it is so good. You can get that in the description box down below, but make sure you're tending to your body, definitely, okay? All right, my beautiful Scorpio friends, let me know how you're doing, how the month is shaping up for you in the comment section down below, and I'll see you in February. Hello, my beautiful Sagittarius friends, and welcome to your horoscope for January of 2024, and welcome to the new calendar year. And keep in mind, Sagittarius, that in the Western astrology game, our new year does not begin until March 21st, so there's still time for things that you want to do, things that you're working on. We're not back in our start of the year just yet, but also welcome to 2024. There's plenty that January is offering you straight out the gate. Mercury is going to be coming direct in your sign, and I think that that's really important for us to acknowledge, even though I do think that the first couple days of January are a bit low energy for you. I do believe that it can pick up from there and we can really maximize your month. Now, Sagittarius, you'll see on the screen that not only can you see the aspect that is happening, but the house that is happening in for you as well. And if you need a little bit of extra guidance, you can come over to my new astrology encyclopedia over at stormiegrace.com. For example, if you want to see new moon happening in your second house, what else does that mean? Where can you reflect? You can come check that out online. All right, Sagittarius, this month, right as we're coming into the month, like I said on the 1st, Mercury is coming direct in your sign at 22 degrees. Now, we saw Mercury, the communication, decision-making, commerce, business, travel planet, go into pre-retrograde shadow time in your sign November 25th. So this is a great time for you to look back to what's been coming to your attention about you, about how you want to express yourself, changes that you want to make in yourself, changes in what you want to make in how you're learning, what you're communicating. Now, as Mercury is direct, I think that you'll find yourself not only prepared to make decisions, ready to communicate different. Maybe you've seen, it's been the holidays, did you see something around you that evoked inspiration in you, and you're feeling more like in the game? It connects you to a piece of you that makes you say, yes, these are decisions and a vision that I have for myself going forward. Now, on the same day, Venus, that is in your sign until the end of the month, is going to be squaring against Saturn. And this is why I say you can have just a little bit of low energy, because it's like, yes, I'm feeling this new perspective or this new, willingness, things about me. But I think it's also kind of made you realize that you're in the spotlight a bit with making the decisions. It's kind of this energy of, while people can love you and be there and have harmonious flow with you, no one is coming to save you. And at first, that can feel a bit lonely. And instead, really what the aspect I think is calling out of you is to understand where it's just going to require a little bit more hard work for you, whether it's in your relationships, your career, your educational parts of your life. It is that you have to pick up the responsibility to either maintain or to move forward, but you will have support along the way, but ultimately the work is yours. That energy only lasts for a day, and then I think you get to go back to being your enthusiastic, joyful, beautiful self, okay? Now, when we get to the 4th, it really kicks off the fact that this month you can take such advantage of financial decisions, financial pursuits, making beautiful progress, making beautiful transformation in your second house of finances, possessions, and self-worth. On the 4th, we see Mars moving into Capricorn. On the 11th, we've got a new moon at 20 degrees of Capricorn. On the 13th, Mercury moves into Capricorn. And on the 23rd, Venus leaves your sign and moves into Capricorn as well. So when I tell you that this month in your income sector, how you make money, creative talents and skills that you have that you can use to earn income with, your self-esteem. All of these things they are supporting this area for you. So make those financial decisions. Figure out what you want to do to add an additional revenue stream to your life. Figuring out what you want to do with your money. Now, for some of you too, it may just be after the holidays, so you're like getting back in the workflow, you're picking up more shifts or things like that, so the money's starting to come back in, but the changes are here. I do want to point out though that Mars moving into Capricorn, Mars brings a change of direction, and it also brings a new energy. So if there are complications or there needs to be, some kind of conflict regarding your finances, you'll likely begin to see it during this particular season. And the new moon is actually in a trine to Uranus in Taurus. So it's saying that any changes that you're wanting to make, you're doing them in the material plane. So you really are changing something physical and tangible that you can touch and you can taste, that is in respect to your money or to your self-worth. Because remember, while at the new moon, you get the chance to plant your seeds of intention to be in something new, it's also urging you to reevaluate your relationship with the material world, with possessions, with what you call financial stability. And it's more about being time to discern what is your true value, understand your worth, and then align that with your resources accordingly. So, one of the things you can do here is create a realistic budget, set some financial goals, find investments that first of all are important to you, and then also learn how to make those investments or go ahead and make that financial decision to do so. So it's really a big progress month in your second house. On the 20th, big news, we've got the sun moving into Aquarius, Pluto moving into Aquarius, and those two coming into a conjunction, all here in your third house. Now, Pluto did come into Aquarius for a short time back in March of 2023. So what is the intensity? What is the change, the really profound, intense opportunity that was maybe presented to you around how you communicate, around your learning, or how you share your insights of learning at that time? Because now, as Pluto is going to spend a bit of time in Aquarius here in 2024, the questions are going to be, how can you communicate more authentically? Really, like, what's your communication? What do you think about that? And it's again coming back to, you have to stand there and say what's true for you. You'll have all the support that you need if you say this thing authentically as you are, but you have to get it up and out and say it. What knowledge or skills do you need to grow and develop and learn to empower yourself? That is great. And I think that this also includes counseling, whether it's mentorship counseling to help you learn and move something forward, or counseling. You're a mutable sign. Worrying and anxiety can be common to you. So where do you need help being empowered to get that information out? And within that, what ways can you transform your perspectives and thought patterns? I think that these are phenomenal questions you will work on beginning here in 2024 and really carrying through into 2025. Now, as we get to the 25th of the month, we're going to see a full moon happening at 5 degrees of Leo, and this is going to light up your 9th house space. Now, this particular moon is also in square to Jupiter, your ruling planet, so it can create emotional excess. Okay, or you're like overshooting the mark with it. What is that? Over exaggerating. So I do want to say to be mindful of that as this potential tension and conflict is here. And also this idea that, while the moon represents this nurturing and comfort, and Jupiter's influence in square here can create challenge and feeling like you have the right balance between that nurturing and comfort. And it can feel like there's this struggle between wanting to provide or have emotional support provided to you and the risk of maybe, am I asking too much? I just want you to think about moderation. Just moderation, because This square is an indication of your desire to have emotional growth and expansion, and you want to go on a greater quest here, right? And in this ninth house of publishing, marketing, broadcasting, it is asking you to make an adjustment around your belief systems, maybe something in your spiritual exploration and your education. So a great way to do this is to consider things like, first of all, reflect on what does emotional growth mean to you, and how do you balance your personal beliefs with these beliefs of like a broader worldview. Maybe somebody in your life is saying, no, you only do it this way, this is all we do, but you've been shown a broader perspective and you're wanting to consider that. So great question to ask yourself for this moon is, how can you align your emotions with your own spiritual, philosophical beliefs? I think this is a great time to answer that. And also, where do you just need to start that dang podcast or YouTube channel or teaching, beautiful Sagittarians? Most of you are gorgeous teachers. Okay, as we're going to close out this month on the 27th, we see Uranus coming direct in the vibration of Taurus, which is lighting up your 6th house. And this, again, is not new energy because Uranus has been traveling here and likely bringing plenty of changes to your daily routine, your health and wellness, including mental health and wellness, changes to your work environment with coworkers, health practices, all of these things. So one of the things that Uranus is really about is prompting you to seek more freedom. You want liberation, you want spiritual liberation, you want physical liberation, but really wanting, I think, a lot of autonomy in your day-to-day routines and life. And so you've been presented with that opportunity. And now what will you do with it? One of the things I can suggest as Uranus comes direct is embrace change, right? In your 6th house, Uranus and Taurus has been digging up things in you from the depths of your body. What needs physical and mental and energetic changes for your body to sustain? So embrace the change. Stay open to new possibilities. Be flexible with yourself as you're also learning to make these changes, okay? And other things are, where have you seen that really, truly what your daily routine has looked like or what your work routine has looked like, it just doesn't work for you anymore. You were making those decisions based out of an unconscious pattern. Maybe you don't have to be working, hustling all of the time. Maybe there's more time for rest, seeing your healthcare practitioners, digging into your daily health and wellness than you were really realizing before. I think that January offers you great footing to make a start there. My beautiful Sagittarians, please share with me how the month is unfolding for you in the comment section down below. I love you a ton, and I'll see you in February. Hello, my absolutely beautiful Capricorn friends, and welcome to your horoscope for 2024. And this January is still birthday season for you, so happy birthday to the Capricorns that are experiencing this side of the January energy. Hopefully you are setting yourself up for a year, for an annual experience where you just really feel like you can love and enlarge your life and like you're bringing a different version of yourself to your life. I really hope that that's the experience that you are getting to experience. So I definitely want that for you. Now, Capricorn, you're going to notice on the screen that you can see not only the aspect that's happening this month, but also the house that it is happening in for you. And if you need a little bit of extra help, you can come over to my new Astrology encyclopedia at stormiegrace.com. Click in the description box down below, and you can check out. You want a more full expression of what does it mean to have the full moon in the 8th house, and maybe some journal prompts to help you really get focused and bring ritual. I've got you all sorted on that at stormiegrace.com. All right, so right as we're coming into the month Capricorn on the 1st, we've got Mercury coming direct in the vibration of Sagittarius. So this has been lighting up your 12th house space. So really, truly, anything that was going on, think back to November 25th of 2023. What was starting to happen to you in your 12th house? Maybe conversations that were coming coming up for you. Maybe there were, were dreams starting to come to your attention. What was happening for you with things maybe happening behind the scenes? Those are things that would have been brought to your attention as Mercury was retrograde at that particular time. And now as Mercury is coming direct, if you can flash back to that, especially in this Sagittarian vibration, you have an opportunity to say, oh, okay, here's where I can, make this decision of this. I've had this spiritual reflection, or I've had this behind the scenes reflection, or this internal exploration. And now those dreams that you paid attention to, those things from behind the scenes, you can communicate them much more clearly going forward. The other benefit that I think Mercury coming direct here, and even during the retrograde, has really helped you with, is it may have brought your attention to where you've had miscommunications in conversations that were actually coming from a subconscious place. You didn't even realize that they were actually going down. And now you know that, and you're like, I can create a different lens for this. So that information will all begin to flow a little bit more freely. And remember, Mercury does not leave its full retrograde shadow time until January 20th, when it gets back to 8 degrees of your sign, Capricorn, and back into that first house. Now, when we get to the 4th of the month, it's all Capricorn all the time, all month. Your first house is absolutely lit up. On the 4th, we see Mars coming into Capricorn, bringing a change of direction, but also bringing action and energy to what you are liking to take on. And it's also a more warrior-like energy, right? Mars is very comfortable in your sign, so where you need to push forward, be aggressive or be assertive, maybe is a better word, or pioneer your way, something forward. Maybe you're going beyond your traditional boundaries and you're trying something different. Mars will help you do that. Now, Mars is still Mars. It will bring conflict if conflict is needed, but it is about heating it up to get to the other side. On the 11th, we've got a new moon happening at 20 degrees of Capricorn. On the 13th, we've got Mercury coming into Capricorn, and on the 23rd, we've got Venus coming into Capricorn. So literally, you are loaded. And whether it's that you want to change your personal style, or you're wanting to put yourself out into the world differently, you can make a lot of impressive changes with this particular energy. Now, the new moon happening at 20 degrees of Capricorn right here in your first house is also square to Uranus in Taurus. So this is another earth energy. Okay, so you've got this really beautiful dynamic change to yourself and your identity, but it's in the material plane. Like, we can see what's happening for you. So it's this profound moment, I think, where you plant your seeds of intention for self-discovery. It's like a cosmic reset for your identity, right? Explore the depths of who you are. Explore the depths of how you authentically and in a fresh way want to present yourself. Focus on self-love, self-acceptance, every curve. Stand in that mirror naked, look at every single inch from the tips of your eyelash down, turn around, see it from the back, that level of self-love and acceptance. And then consider adopting new habits that support your physical, mental well-being, creating an environment outside of yourself externally that allow for your reinvention and your support as well. Now, one of the questions I want to leave you with at this new moon is, what aspects of your identity are you seeing right now have actually held you back? And how can you be courageous? How can you use some of that Mars energy to express your true self, your true feelings, and really show us to the world and this new identity you have to the world moving forward? When we get to the 20th, big day, big information. We've got Pluto moving into Aquarius, the Sun moves into the Aquarius, and then the Sun and Pluto come into this conjunction, and it is all in your second house. Now, Pluto is offering an absolutely profound rearrangement to your financial and to your value sectors, okay? Because Pluto is always about bringing this profound change. It says something has to die off, especially in terms of habits or behaviors, so that something else can live, so that you can take on that opportunity for that personal growth. So in your second house, really revelations about your values, what you actually value, how you actually value yourself, and all things in your financial sector. So I would be asking these questions, what are your true values that are guiding what you're doing with your money? And what are your true values that are showing you what your priorities in life are? Because if they are not to your greatest good or the greatest good of you and also your ability to give to a community, Aquarius, Pluto's going to be taking those out of the way. So how can you transform your relationship with your values, with money, and with your resources in the material world? And my last thought for you is, where do you derive in the first place your sense of self-worth? Because these are questions that Pluto, I think, is going to help you. Really, it's going to bring to your attention to ask these questions. On the 25th, we've got a full moon that is happening at 5 degrees of Leo, and it is also squaring Jupiter over in Taurus. Now, I share about the square with you because it can just really over-exaggerate this moon. It can just, it's taking it to the over-exaggerated place, and instead, you want to use the square between these two more as an opportunity to, yes, be idealistic, have idealism for yourself, right? Reflect on where shared resources, eighth house, things like that for you in your life can improve, where you have some emotional instinct or where you have an ability to learn a bit more here, but where you're not being torn about having to be so emotionally attached to it. Instead, being mindful of how you can develop a deeper understanding of this eighth house keeps you away from all of the excessive energy and lets you stay a bit in the reality. But the full moon itself is asking you to end something, acknowledge something, or to make an adjustment. And there can be an intense emotional revelation to your shared resources, sex, intimacy, healing, transformation, any place that there are intimate connections. And again, you're looking at how do you balance your vulnerability and being open and your strength of personal perseverance. And what's your evaluation of your shared resources and where you have emotional intimacy and connection to share with others? So the question for you at this full moon is, what emotional transformations are you currently experiencing, and how can you navigate them with vulnerability, but also make these changes, really express yourself here? So I wouldn't be surprised if you see changes in a financial resource, maybe something in your partner's resource, or, were you applying for a loan or a grant, or you need to detox this area of your life and allow that emotional transformation to take place. That's all pretty much in the cards for you at this particular full moon. As we close out the month on the 27th, we're seeing Uranus come direct in the vibration of Taurus, which it's not new to being there. Uranus in Taurus has been creating breakdowns and breakthroughs and innovation for you in your fifth house of creativity, of romance. So I have no doubt that you have been in some profound periods of creative experimentation, or maybe there's been unexpected romantic experiences that have unfolded for you, really some true love that you didn't expect to be there. Or maybe at this point, there's even just a desire for more excitement, spontaneity, a more creative, playful energy. Whatever it is for you, Uranus has been about bringing that spirit of innovation to this area and liberating you. So what I can tell you is that Uranus coming direct, embrace the changes that are here. Embrace the ways that you've been, set free in some ways. Stay open to new possibilities in this fifth house, and we'll continue to travel with this for the next few years, and remain flexible. That's how you can really make the most out of this particular transit and let these experiences come in and bring you to places that you maybe never thought you'd explore. Now, one of the other things I think is really very true with Uranus and Taurus, it has also come to the body. Any health issues that have been untreated, maybe you didn't even know they were there, or very much so, like the Taurus energy and earth energy. You've been stacking it in, holding on to it, holding on to it, holding on to it. And it's been living in your body in some way, whether it's been in your pelvis, your pelvic bowl, it's been in your nerves, definitely in your hips. Evaluate that. Where are you at with your hip and your pelvic mobility? Have you been having challenges in your reproductive organs? Have you been having trouble in your reproductive and partnership vibrations, feeling like you can't attract solid partnership to you and keep it? After the 27th, you really have a chance to address these things. Now, you can check out my 22-day Venus Reset program where we invited Venus into that pelvic bowl for healing. But whatever you do, I want you to know that your romance, your love, your true love, your joy sector through the physical body has been set to the key of innovate, break this down, and break it through vibration, which is nothing but good news for you, my beautiful Capricorn friends. All right, Capricorns, have a gorgeous month. I love you, and I look forward to seeing you in February. Hello, my absolutely beautiful Aquarius friends, and welcome to your horoscope for January of 2024. Welcome to 2024. Happy birthday, as your birthday is going to be rolling in, and welcome to a year where you are going to have some significant changes. I think it's an absolutely beginning, powerful year in us, the world, you yourself, really meeting the Aquarius that you are at the core. I'm really pumped about it, taking your place in the global stage, on public stages and in spaces where you were always meant to go, even if you didn't know that person yet. I think that this month is the beginning of that really beautiful story. Maybe I should say it's the continuation, because March of 2023 did bring Pluto into Aquarius, right? You rose, or you changed your position in the world. Maybe even your body physically changed in some way. But 2024 is offering a bigger picture, a bigger chance to really meet this next version of yourself and to shed these behavior patterns, ideas, ways of being that just don't serve you and the world anymore. It's undeniable what we're going to see these changes bring to you. So I think it's really exciting. Now, we've also got a month where it's loaded in Capricorn energy for the most of the month. So you're really moving into the space of a lot of introspection, the 12th house, working on things behind the scenes. So Aquarius, I hope you're spending January doing a little bit of resting. Prioritize rest, prioritize self-care, prioritize watching what your dream life and signals and symbols are bringing into your world, and really prioritizing your spirituality. That's a lot of what the month absolutely has to bring to you, okay? All right, you're going to notice on the screen, Aquarius, that you can see not only the aspect that is happening, but also the house that it is happening in for you as well. And if you need a little bit more guidance, you can come over to my website at stormiegrace.com and check out my new astrology encyclopedia. So, if you wanted to see more about what does it mean when the full moon's in the 7th house, you can come and check that out right at my site, okay? All right, Aquarius, in we go. So right at the beginning of the month, on the 1st, we see Mercury coming direct in the vibration of Sagittarius. Now, as Mercury has been direct, or excuse me, as Mercury has been retrograde, can you tell I'm recording during a Mercury retrograde? As Mercury has been retrograde, it's been traveling through the 12th, but mostly the 11th house space of your chart, really putting you in a position where you've been reevaluating your social circles, your spheres. Maybe you've even been reconnecting with old friends or social groups, or you've been revisiting old social connections. Now, as equally possible, there could have been plenty of misunderstandings within groupings of people or friendships, and hopefully you've been patient enough to work your way through that and not making a lot of impulsive decisions, because we do have Sagittarius being a fire energy. Either way, it has really been a time, and it's offered you an opportunity to be a bit more introspective and revisit these old things and refine the ways that you need to communicate here before you make any decisions. Now, as Mercury's direct, I think you can feel a lot more comfortable making those decisions, having those communications, and really being honest. If you are aligned with a group of people that are not actually your tribe, you can be answering those questions. You can be saying, okay, maybe it's time for me to broaden my horizons and seek out where my tribe that really lets me be held and supported is at. Now, when we get to the 4th, the Capricorn sector of life lights up. The 12th house just lights up. We are going to have Mars move into the vibration of Capricorn, where we've also got the sun. We're going to see a new moon happening in Capricorn. The 13th brings Mercury into Capricorn, and the 23rd brings Venus into Capricorn. So when I tell you that your spiritual life, your behind the scenes life is really looking for your attention this month, that's exactly what I mean. Now, this Mars energy coming in says that there's a change of direction on the table, but Mars is empowered and exalted in Capricorn. So whatever changes you need to do, whatever old authorities that you need to take on or you need to be assertive against in order to move some things forward, you'll be, I think, quite comfortable doing that. And the new moon at 20 degrees of Capricorn in a beautiful Earth trine to Uranus in Taurus is really signaling a period for you of planting your seeds of intention to do this deep introspection, to do this spiritual growth, and take it as an opportunity to connect with your inner self, explore your spirituality, delve into those realms of your subconscious. What are you afraid of? What's holding you back? What are the things that will be your undoing? So bringing a meditation practice in if you don't have one, exploring different spiritual teachings, paying attention to your dreams. This is a time for all of that inner reflection. And it's also a sense of renewal, spiritual renewal, rest and rejuvenation. So I would ask you at this new moon, as you're planting your seeds of intention, to first of all realize it's happening in an earth energy, trining an earth energy. So it is about making changes that are here in the material plane. But you can ask yourself, what spiritual practices or inner reflections can help guide you during your day-to-day life? And what messages are holding weight and value for you to help you move forward? Now, when we get to the 20th, big day, big energy. First of all, we see the sun moving into your sign. So happy, happy birthday. Congratulations and welcome to your annual new start. But we'll also see Pluto moving into Aquarius. Now, again, we did see this energy in March of 2023. So the story has started. And now we'll jump into this continuation of what is here, because Pluto is the planet of empowerment, but it does it by regeneration, which means that something has to die off in order for something else to live. It's going to move away things that no longer belong here for you. Pluto's whole point is to bring profound changes and opportunities to you for your own personal growth. And for you, it can be this intense period of self-discovery and focusing on your identity. Like I said, who are you really at your core? Who are you ready to step into this world as in this next version of yourself? What aspects of yourself as you travel 2024 and 2025 with Pluto need transformation, need empowerment, and they're also ready for it. And I think in all of this, the question is going to be, in your new role, in this new status that you're taking on, how can you continue to live in an evolved way and express yourself really authentically? Now, Pluto also in the first house can just bring changes to the physical body. So if you're needing to have a lot of transformation in that area, be connected to the core energy. What needs the change? And you're ready to bring it in, okay? As we get to the 25th, we're going to see a full moon happening in Leo, and this is right across the street in your 7th house space, squaring Jupiter. So I bring up this square to you because Jupiter and moon squaring Jupiter can really make it so that you go to the excess instead of moderation. You know, we're really over emotional. There has to be this emotional climax in our partnerships and our relationships. And it's like, well, maybe just moderation. Let's bring it back down to earth a little bit so that you can put more of a balanced spotlight on where you need to end and acknowledge or adjust something in your relationships in order to bring balance and harmony. How do you balance your individual needs and expressions with the partnership dynamics in your life. So there's this real evaluation of some relationship harmony. And the greatest question I think that the moon, this lunation, offers you, not in excess, but in its pure, realistic moderation, is what emotions do you need to express or address within your close personal relationship so that there can be that harmony. As we're going to close out the month, we've got Uranus, one of your ruling planets, coming direct in Taurus. This has been lighting up the fourth house space. Now, Uranus into this space is not new. And Uranus has been bringing sudden changes, breakthroughs, insights, a real desire for freedom, really changing up the home, family, real estate, domestic area of your life. So, the changes in your home environment, those family dynamics, maybe even in a living situation, all of them have been about this strong need for freedom in your family structure. And if the freedom has been, you're stepping into the next level of your life, you're moving from child to parent to grandparent, or you are going, I am not the family scapegoat anymore. Whatever it is that you've been changing this personal space of freedom, this is where Uranus coming direct is really going to have you continuing this journey. Now, I can tell you, you are raised in the vibration of Uranus, but to just remember that the spirit of innovation here is still about embracing change, even your own change, staying open to a new possibility and being flexible. That's how you really can maximize this individual experience. And I would also tell you, I'm always mindful with Uranus running through the fourth house of making sure that you're taking care of your home, right? But making sure that the electrical systems are wired correctly. And speaking of home, Uranus and Taurus has also brought up issues in the body. Where is your body, even in the electrical, neurological systems, been taking on too much? And you're needing to do some somatic work to really, really release. Now, if you've got somatic work that needs to happen in these hips, in that pelvic bowl, I invite you to take my Venus Reset course, 22 days. We get into that sacred pelvic bowl, and it is absolutely this beautiful meditative journey where we explore and release. All right, my beautiful Aquarians, have a beautiful, happy birthday time. I look forward to the intentions that you're going to set for yourself for your new year. So let me know what they are in the comment section down below. I love you, and I'll see you in February. Hello, my absolutely beautiful Pisces friends, and welcome to your horoscope for January of 2024, and just welcome to 2024 in general. We're just a few weeks really away from birthday time, so I'm hoping that as you travel with all this 11th house energy that you're going to have this month, you're also kind of thinking and planning for a little bit of time before your actual birthday to rest, to rejuvenate, to start thinking about what you would like for your next year and where you're going to set those intentions. But whatever you're doing, I just want to send you love and say happy 2024. All right, you're going to see, Pisces, on the screen that not only do you have the aspects listed for you, but the house that it's actually happening in for you as well. And if you need a little bit extra guidance, you can come over to my website, stormiegrace.com, and click on my new astrology encyclopedia, and you can look up things like the full moon happening in your fifth house and what does that mean, and get a little bit of guidance and also a little bit of journaling prompt to help you consider how to work with that energy. So let's get in here, Pisces, and talk about what's going on this month, because a lot has to do with the social sector of your life that is really going to be dominating things happening for you this month. What is happening with the friends, who's in your tribe, where are you actually going to allow yourself to align? But as we're starting out the month, on the 1st, we see Mercury coming direct in the vibration of Sagittarius, which Mercury moved into the Sagittarius vibration for pre-retrograde shadow time, November 25th of 2023. So you can really go back exactly to that time frame and say, okay, what was starting to happen for me with work or career? Or if you're not working, it's even about soul level calling, your reputation that we call you in public. But for many Pisces, I think that the energy is really very focused, especially in the demographic that I serve, on career related and professional things. And now as Mercury is coming direct here, you're going to be able to make some decisions. Anything that felt like it was like, it's the end of the year. Things just get clogged in the end of the year communication tunnel. All of that will start to release. I do want to remind you that Mercury doesn't come fully out of this retrograde cycle until January 20th when it gets back to 8 degrees of Capricorn, but we'll start to see some communications, decisions, being able to move forward. And that brings a lot of clarity in things in the professional realm. And I also think that that is important because as soon as we get to the 4th, we see the Capricorn area of your chart just get loaded. Now, the sun is already in Capricorn, but we're going to invite Mars into Capricorn on the 4th. On the 11th, we've got a new moon happening in Capricorn. On 13th, Mercury moves into Capricorn. And on the 23rd, Venus moves into Capricorn. So the gang's all here is what I have to say about that. But it's really about your social life, your friends, your tribe, what is going on in your social medias even. Where are the social spaces, especially around friendship and feeling held and loved and supported, where you feel like you can hold a position of influence and maybe share yourself, share a message, right? Have a friend, be a friend. This is really what's on the table, and it is a absolutely beautiful energy this month to make progress there. Mars being here tells us that this area of your life has got a change of direction. Mars always brings a change of direction. Now, if there's a pretty, spicy conversation or some spicy assertive decisions that need to be made and actions that need to be taken, Mars will help you do that, but you'll understand that you are being the warrior, you are being the surgeon of this part of your life because it's absolutely necessary. The new moon happening on January 11th is also going to be at 20 degrees of Capricorn. It is going to be trining Uranus that is also in Taurus. So it tells me that really truly in this 11th house, first of all, you're re-energized here. There's a fair amount of energy as you plant your seeds of intention here. So, if you even have a community that you're attending to and you wanted to re-energize it in some way, create more engagement or more connection, it's a time you can do that. But that trine to Uranus has me thinking that, if you cannot strengthen a tie or a connection in the social spaces you are or with a particular friendship, you might be saying, this isn't positively contributing to me, and I'm not positively contributing to this communication or this community or this collaboration, and you might be willing to cut it off. So a way that you can really think about this at this particular new moon is, one, how can you contribute positively to your community or to your social circles or your friendships that you're in? And also, which of those social connections actually bring some fulfillment in your life? And I think it can help you see where you no longer need to nurture and participate in a certain way if that's really not what's for you anymore, okay? On the 20th, it's a big day. We see the sun moving into the vibration of Aquarius, and we also see Pluto moving into Aquarius as well. Now, Pluto has had a visit to this 12th house area of your life and your energy. And so you can flash back to March of 2023 at the end of the month when Pluto moved to Aquarius for a short jaunt. And Pluto is all about bringing profound changes and opportunity through personal growth for personal growth, but it's really about it's the phoenix energy. It will die off, kill off, destroy whatever is not needed there anymore so that the next version can live, right? So as Pluto is traveling here in this 12th house space for you, it really encourages, first of all, some really deep introspection, some spiritual exploration at its finest. And the questions are that you'll work with 24 and 25 are, how can you deepen your connection with your spiritual realm, with a place that you can connect with your own dreams? What aspects of your subconscious actually need transformation? And maybe you're not able to get there by yourself, but the pain point of Pluto will show you where to bring in a mentor, where maybe this tribe or this grouping can help you grow there. And in what ways can you actually embrace some level or create inner peace in solitude? Where do you have to go to ground sometimes, Pisces, and just be with you so that you can recharge? And it's really interesting because I think that this particular transit for you, meditation, especially through this 12th house space, or anything that gets you into a meditative state that is not a drink or a drug. Try to do it as natural as you can. But whatever brings that can be a really powerful tool to connect with exactly what is asking to transform for you. So, consider bringing in visualization, reflection, mentorship, things like that allow you to get quiet and listen and be more specific and clear with what you're asking for. Now, other things that are happening in that 12th house space are projects you're working on behind the scenes. So you might be spending some time working on something back there, bringing even a play, or you're bringing some kind of creation, some kind of song, some kind of music to life from behind the scenes, or you're awakening other people, Aquarius, to the reality of the spiritual or the unseen realms, okay? Now, as we get to the 25th, we're going to have a full moon happening at 5 degrees of Leo, and this is going to light up your 6th house space. Now, this particular full moon is also square Jupiter, one of your ruling planets. So I say this because it can bring attention to this particular full moon where we want to over exaggerate what's really going on. And the full moon is going to ask you to end something, acknowledge something, or to make an adjustment as is, okay? And so this is going to be in that realm of your 6th house space. So your energy here is focused on what needs to be adjusted in your work, your daily routine, your health routine, what needs to be adjusted in the time that you're allowing for self-care and making practical adjustments to how you're doing that in. So it's a great full moon to do an assessment of your emotional and your physical health, especially surrounding your daily routines, and asking what adjustments you can make in these areas to enhance your emotional well-being, because this is the moon. And this is where that Jupiterian energy gets in, where it's like, yeah, emotionally, if I just did this every day, I would be really healthy. But it's like, emotionally, that's not realistic for you to do that, right? Jupiter wants to be optimistic and be like, we're going to go to the gym every day, or we're going to meditate every day. And emotionally, it's just not realistic based on what's actually in your life and what actually feeds your soul. So that could be something you're very much so looking at. The other lens of the 6th house is always, always, always work. And you have plenty of enough work stuff going on this month. So as we're looking at the work, I think that this full moon, if your work environment or a contract or a connection is not solid, the full moon will ask you to end, acknowledge, or adjust it. Maybe you are creating a big change someplace that you work, or even the way that you work is getting this change to it in order to really, you need to have, there has to be practical balance here is really what you're going for. And then always in the 6th house, we have coworkers. So one of your coworkers could just be on one, you say something, they hear it very, very differently. Or how sometimes you'll get an email from someone and you read it in the voice you think they sent it in, and that's not actually what happened. And then there's a little thing that goes down. This could be that you're looking at and working with at the end of the month, okay? As we're going to close out this month on the 27th, we have Uranus going direct in the vibration of Taurus in your 3rd house. Now, Uranus in Taurus is not new energy at all, but this is going to instead continue to be a place where you're working. Uranus has been bringing breakdowns and breakthroughs in how you communicate, how you absorb and disseminate information. And there's this really big desire for freedom. I want to do my own thing. I want to go my own way. I want to have some individuation here. So I have no doubt that Uranus, in terms of how you communicate, how you learn, your connection with siblings and your network, there's been sudden insights or breakdowns and breakthroughs in your learning, changes in how you communicate, changes in who you're allowing to communicate into your life. And from it, in the end, what we can expect is a more open-minded version of yourself, but you have to practice being open-minded and experimental in how you approach information and different perspectives. Because while Uranus is really about the spirit of innovation and liberation, it can be unpredictable. It looks really weird. It looks really sideways. So embrace change. Stay flexible and stay open to new possibilities as they continue to present themselves. Maybe the place where you share your information or someone is sharing information for you to learn, or that book that you want to write seems really different than anything you've ever done or anything you think people want to hear from. And it might be exactly the right thing, okay? All right, my absolutely beautiful Pisces friends, I hope you have a gorgeous January. Please let me know how it's unfolding for you in the comment section down below. I love you a ton, and I will see you in February as we inch another little notch closer to birthday time for you. Bye, Pisces.